Previously in the GodBreaking, our heroes, fresh upon the shores of Elysium, encountered one of their oldest friends and allies, Akelia, former princess of Ospium, and now designated successor to the goddess Mystra. Here in Elysium, she is new. She is pretty relatively unversed in the ways of this new plane that she's on. All she knows is that she's been struggling for survival and that she's been attempting to piece together how to best proceed. You guys explored a little bit of this realm. You looked around at the plains around you. You encountered some demons. You learned about a little bit of the ecosystem and how the gods, how at least Akelia has survived nourishment from an ambrosia tree, eating the bark of an ambrosia tree. And you also got a look at the overall. You were also piecing together an overall plan. I think is where we left off. You learned that for the most part, healing here in this realm, at least some of the demons have been conditioned to slay gods or to fight the divine. So divine healing magic is less effective against it. And yeah, I think that's where we stand. So you guys are currently here near Kelly's little village that she's claimed as her own, and placed a shield of hiding basically around it so that she's beyond the view of these marauding, somewhat random, or at least seemingly random, roving demon packs. And you guys need to decide what you want to do next.
I feel like we had been planning on traveling to the vigils, like Torm's, Tears, and then maybe Tempest's, and maybe hitting up Radiant Street to deal with that BBG that she saw over there, like through a scrying. Last she noticed, but I'm not sure.
I was in and out a lot last week because of work, but
Yeah.
from what I got, what I kind of understood is that we had to hit up like some gates or some keys or some shit that we need to move forward, like up the mountain. Is that right?
Yeah, that we need to check out the vigils where the remnants of the gods are, perhaps to find a ways of accessing the the mountain. Basically, I think maybe some hints might have been left there.
Okay. Yeah, so after I prestidigitate Deimos' tidy whities about 50 times, and I put a saddle on him, I say mount up, let's go.
Okay. Akelia says, where do you plan to head off to?
Well, did you want to join us? We are headed towards the temples, the vigils that you had mentioned.
Towards our destiny.
Yes, that.
She smiles a little. She says, I must admit I have not ventured far beyond my village here, and I am curious for answers.
Well then, you must join us. Remember when we cast that very powerful wish spell together? Wasn't that thrilling, exciting? Let's do that again. Together.
You can't cast wish anymore, right?
Not that specifically. Any other spell.
But yes, together, yes.
She says, I would like that. I fear, however, that I may be as much of an encumbrance upon you as a help. While I can offer some of my strength, much of what I can do, much of my energy is focused upon simply maintaining the weave and the multiple connections throughout the planes to it. So I will be of limited help. But I
To
fear
be
that
honest, that sounds more helpful than any of us. So, would you like to be a permanent member of our group?
She smiles. She says, I'd very much like to travel with you. And yes, for as long as we can. You are the only friends that I've been able to find other than Nutmeg here. She says, I do fear that I may be a hindrance as well. The demons may be able to track me, they may be able to find me, or they may have more reason to hunt you down. I hope that you will take that into consideration.
You seem to be safe in this space that you have built, but it does seem very lonely. And I would be able to brave any dangers that you think you might be bringing upon us. But you know what? They think that they might be tracking you to end us, but they're just going to be hurrying themselves to their deaths.
I elbow Elwin. That was awesome.
No.
Her smile grows into a large grin, and she says, Then we shall travel. Come, Nutmeg, let's gather our things.
Huzzah!
Yes.
Oh.
Come, Deimos. Hiya!
Come, Ambrose! I awaken Ambrose! So he can join us as a treant or something that can walk.
Alright. So you go into... I don't know why this was the closest thing I could find that... This is what you see as you try to reach into the mind of the tree. It's a golden-looking tree, but this is what you see as you picture and as you venture your mind and travel through the paths of its constitution, of its bark and all the underlying layers, and find the mind of the tree.
That looks like a virus made by Umbrella.
Doesn't it? Yeah. And it's I don't know. I googled golden tree and this is what I found. So Ambrose speaks back to you and says, "Hey there, Renly."
Hey, Ambrose, we're heading on a journey, and Achillia and Nutmeg are traveling too. And I don't think you might want to be on your own, but would you want the option of maybe being able to travel and decide where you want to be, just in case things decide to visit and try to make you join your companions who have left this departed plane? Would you like to join us?
He says, "Me? Travel? Nah, trees don't travel. I wouldn't know what to do."
But you're Ambrose, you're not just any tree. And perhaps you can meet other trees.
He smiles. He says, "Where are you going, Renly? Where are you headed to?"
To Torm's Vigil. As I try to look through this strange map that I hope we have in some form. And I will describe Torm's and Tyrus and Tempest's vigils, and maybe there might be, others of your kind over there, so you might not be quite so on your own.
He says, "Well, I'll go with you, but I'll travel in my own way. Wherever you go, look for my golden leaves. I'll be close by."
Will do. I nod and pat him on his bark.
Yes. "Take care, Renly. Be safe out there."
Will do. Stay safe, my friend.
"Oh, I will."
think you just gave him wood.
Oh my god. That's bark, tree bark for you. Yeah.
"Hey, take some of my bark with you. You'll need some for the road, I think."
That's a good point. Alrighty. And I will do so. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Achillia, A few minutes later, she emerges from her little hut, and she only has a few things. One, of course, she has her dragon or her coatl, just kind of camped out on her shoulder. Well,
I'm gonna ask her if
Mhm.
she remembers that dwarf that was like super hard trying to get in her pants.
um, dwarf, my
Yeah,
in,
Kildrak. Remember?
in, into my pants?
Yeah, he's like really confused. He was like a wizard and a paladin and like 5 other things.
Ah, she smiles. She says, "Ah, yes, Kildrak. He,
Well, guess what? He
yes,
downgraded. Remember Euphemia?
I do, Auntie Euphemia. Yes.
Yeah, they're banging.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Well,
Don't throw up. Don't
Visuals
throw
on
up.
people's heads.
well." You see her a little red come to her face. She says, "I hope they find happiness. They, they're certainly deserving of it after all they've been through."
No, you might be confusing. I was talking about Euphemia.
Yes, well, Auntie does have a bit of a coarse streak to her, but I know that deep down inside she does care, at least for those things that are most valuable to her, or most close to her. She was always so kind to me, and my family.
Kind in silence, yes. Shall we make a move on?
I was going to ask you, how do you plan to travel? The distance that we must traverse is great indeed. Had you put any thought to it?
I have my trusty mount, Deimos.
I was planning on
He
trying to
might
be
not
like
be
the
very
wind.
smart, but he's strong like an ox.
That he is.
I feed him something, like a piece of apple or something.
She says, if you give me but a moment, I've learned a few tricks here in this world, and I might be able to provide us a way to traverse the plains more quickly."
That sounds good. And I just want to double check. Like, my tree stride didn't work earlier today. Would walk being one with the wind not work either, or would transporting via plants not work either?
So transporting via plant won't work. Any instant teleportation stuff won't. If you physically move from one location to another, that will get you places.
Okay, so like windwalk might actually work then.
It might, yeah.
I will share this with her in case she has something that we might be able to do together that will work better rather than individually.
She says, it could, but here, let me show you something, Renly. And she, you see her reach down and place her hand on the ground. She says, "I found that all that Elysium is constituted of responds quite well to my touch. I can reform it and reshape it with just a bit of concentration. Watch." And she puts her hands on the ground, and as she lifts them, it's like the stone of the ground and the dirt of the ground begins to rise up with her hands. And again, the ground is golden in hue and streaked with light. As she raises her hand, the rock that she pulls up from the ground begins to take shape, and with some movements, pieces of it begin to fall off, and others begin to concentrate and move together. After a few minutes, you have in front of you what looks like a sleek, streamlined, gold-hued chariot, long enough to fit all of you fairly comfortably.
Does it fly? I look at it in awe.
She says, "No, it does not. But it might it will move quite speedily. I dare say faster than your movement via cloud form would allow us to. We do have a
That is
great distance to
amazing.
travel."
Dibs on the front seat. I jump in.
Okay. Hey, Adis, are you there? I haven't heard you say anything, which is abnormal.
Yeah, I'm
It
here.
was totally. Did he go AFK?
No, I'm here.
Okay,
Oh, you're
just
there!
checking.
Yay!
No, you all were conversating about things my character wasn't around from, so I was just letting you do it.
Okay, cool. Is there anything you wanted to do before you depart?
Yeah, I want to try something with Elwyn.
Okay.
But I have a question for her
I don't
first.
go that way, bro.
Not that kinda. So I'm gonna ask her. So the weave still goes through the barrier, right? The what did we call it? I forget.
The veil?
The veil, yeah.
It does, indeed.
All right. I want to try something. If you'd be willing to help me and Elwyn.
She
And
nods her
essentially-
head.
Essentially, what I want to try to do is a pseudo out of body experience and try to ride the weave back to the material plane. To find someone and say hi. And I'm sure Elwyn has someone he would like to say hi to too. Because we can't teleport back, we can't use long distance communication, but we might be able to pseudo ride the weave through the veil. Maybe.
Okay.
Or something to the effect of, like, you know how they had the old communication with the string and the cup?
Yeah.
Like thumping the weave to send a message through the weave, kind of? Something like that?
Okay. So as you're
But
explaining
I'm pretty sure
this,
I can't do it on my own.
yeah, as you're explaining this to her, she you see her thinking, and she begins to nod her head a little bit, and she says, "Yes, I think I understand what you're trying to accomplish." She says, "The distance to travel is vast. Truly, almost unknowingly vast. And the weave does pass through the veil, and as it does, there is quite a bit of distortion along the way. But I think with a very concentrated expenditure, and with my help, it may be possible to manifest some kind of effect on the material plane."
Acalia, if it would help, we do have these devices that used to do a direct line, instant direct communication line.
Mm-hmm.
Would this help aid in the process?
She
And
says,
I'm talking about our cell phones.
yeah. She says, it's certainly possible. The unique arcane signature of each of these objects can be used as a beacon with which to focus upon. It will be a bit of an experiment, and even with my abilities, she says, I cannot guarantee the preciseness of the effects. You see, the veil itself is created and almost by nature designed to inhibit divine powers. So much of what I can do is greatly affected by the veil.
I'm gonna say, Adis, go ahead and record your message, and I'll handle my sending stone.
Alright.
All right, what are you saying?
It's just basically for Mr. and just asking if she's okay and if she's safe.
Okay.
And Elwyn, you want to probably say something to what's her face, right?
I'm just gonna send a dick pic.
With to her on it, of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
To everyone we send it to.
And if you allow it, Midas, I'll expend 3 sparks for it.
I'll expend 3 sparks on it too, but I want to attach my dick pic to every message we send out without anyone knowing.
Hey Renly, is there anybody you would like to send a message to?
I would like to get in contact with Biffin and just tell him we're alive and we're on the other side. And
Isn't he
not
dead?
I don't think so. I believe he's fine, right?
Oh wait, no, we
right?
saw him flying around. I think at the end.
At this point, I've lost track of things, so I'm just gonna hope that Biffin receives the message.
All right, we'll try sending one to Biffy.
Okay. All right. You don't need to expend all 3 sparks. If one spark per message per person, that's fine.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Sounds good.
So we'll need. Well, you have magical powers. You could join in and help.
Yeah. Each of you roll your sparks.
Oh, 1.
Oh,
1,
I accidentally rolled it twice. Mine was a 1.
2.
All right. The 4 of you gather together, with Nutmeg kind of floating around behind you, just curiously, just like twist,
I'll be
cocking
like,
its
you
head,
can
looking
join
in.
too if you want.
Nutmeg is not very intelligent. It just, or at least has not manifested any evidence of sentience, but it is curious.
Of a cow. Okay.
It's arguing with Deimos about who gets the next apple.
Oh,
I think it's winning them
Hey,
in that case.
Battle of Minds.
Midas,
Yes.
can I throw one more spark in to do a message for Deimos to the cat? Or no, I'll attach a message to the cat on mine since they were together last time I saw.
Here, I'll burn one of Deimos' sparks.
Yeah, he would definitely go in on that.
I'm just happy he didn't decide to contact work.
Okay. So the 5 of you just kind of lean in together, with the sending stone in the center, on the ground in the middle of you, between you. And Akelia, she holds the hands of each person on either side of her, and she encourages you all to join your hands together as well in a circle. And she closes her eyes, and she begins to whisper in an ancient language, one that you guys can catch snippets of. It's a kind of elvish language, but at least maybe the predecessor to the modern day elvish. But then as she begins to speak in that, you hear her switch languages from different vocabulary to vocabulary, just meandering through a variety of different tongues, almost seamlessly. And as she does that, your sensation of the weave, and how it permeates this area, and even though it's the inverse nature of the weave that you guys feel on this end, it is still at least familiar to you. You can feel it intensify, and as you guys trigger your sparks, you see that you can see beyond the readily evident material and physical around you, and even arcane and divine around you. And you guys see Akelia in her true form, the weave just flowing in and through her, almost as if she were like a focal point of the weave, threads and strands from millions of different directions and planes and universes, all just connecting and interweaving in and around her and through her. And as she continues to elevate her spell, the sending stone glows and lifts off the ground, until it's about chest height for you guys, and you can see a single thread of the weave connected through Akelia begin to glow brighter than everything else. And as she continues to speak, the thread moves slightly until it is passing through the sending stone and then off into the sky. And you can't see where it goes to, where it connects to, but it's glowing brightly off into, as far as you can tell, into the infinite distance between you and the material plane. And she continues to focus, and then in a moment her speaking quiets, and she still holds your hands. And you can see her intently concentrating. And then the glow begins to subside, and she slowly releases your hands. And the stone settles back down to the ground. She says, she pauses for a second. You can see her breathing slightly heavily. And she opens her eyes back up and she looks at you. And she says, I don't know what that was exactly. But I could feel your efforts. I could feel your will directing and aiding me in the casting of the spell, she says. It should have taken... I expected it to take much longer and be much more difficult than it was. But the singular thread that had a chance of making it across the plains and carrying your messages, it was there right in front of me. And attaching it to your stone was simple. And the message went off freely. She says, I haven't been able to do that before. And I'm not sure what you all did, but it was incredible.
We just believed in you.
Well,
Don't tell her about how we defeated, and the earthquake. I start backtracking and going like, wait, what did we tell her? I feel like we might need to spend some time chatting over the campfire.
Probably not.
We have some catching up to do. Yes.
You know how information is like deadly. It's one of those situations where the more she knows, the more danger you put her in, kind of thing.
But ignorance might be even worse in this case if she's traveling with us.
Hey, your call. Your super mojo friend.
okay.
I think it's a good idea.
I'm lying down in the sleigh. What is it exactly? Is it a carpet, a sleigh,
Yeah,
a
kind of it's kind of like a chariot slash sleigh. It's extended so there's room for everybody.
Alrighty.
So it's like a 4-wheel chariot.
Yeah.
Has it got the little like razor blade pointers thingies out the?
No, it does not. She didn't make it as an object of war. It's very sleek and streamlined. The tip
Sweet.
that kind of protrudes before it, where you could see it normally it would attach to some kind of beast to pull it. Instead, it's just pointed and looking very pretty aerodynamic actually. But it doesn't have a harness to attach to an animal. Okay, Akelia says, well, I've done all I can to send the message. Unfortunately, there is really no way for us to know whether or not they received it, and certainly no way for them to respond. We will just have to hope. But I feel that the chances were good.
That will have to be good enough.
Okay. At that point, Nutmeg kind of like breaks into the circle and just like twirls around a little bit and nestles his head against Akelia, and she says, "Of course, Nutmeg. He says that he thinks it's time for us to depart."
I look at her from the floor of the chariot slash sleigh, like yes, I am already in here. When are y'all going to step in?
She says, "Then shall we?" And she...
So since a god made this chariot, it's like CR20, right?
The chariot? It's pretty...
Yeah, so I can totally turn this thing into an ancient dragon.
It's pretty tight. She steps into the chariot, and after you all board, you see that she has a small satchel with her, as carrying the only personal effects that she has. and with everyone inside, she gestures, and the chariot begins to move. And it moves smoothly at first, but you can tell that it's just getting started. And as she turns it slightly to point in a south, I guess what would be a southeasterly direction, the chariot really begins to accelerate, and the wheels begin to spin with a supernatural grace. The hum, the low pitched hum of them spinning quickly turns into a moderately high pitched whine, and not because of any any imperfection in the build, but it's purely in the speed at which the wheels are spinning. You guys begin to traverse across the plains extremely quickly. You don't know exactly how fast you're going, but you're making much faster speed than any fly or no wind walk spell would have been able to allow you to make.
Huzzah! This is way over a mile a minute. Woo!
Sweet. So it'll take us like 12 months instead of 1,200 years to get there.
So, you guys are making. So, what would have been like this journey back on your plane would have been like this on this map here, the line would have been like a 4-month or a 6-month journey, 4 to 6 month journey back in your world. You guys are moving significantly faster. You're thinking, as you see the environment around you kind of whip by at extreme speeds, you're thinking you could probably make it in several days. Maybe closer to a week.
This is awesome.
Okay.
That would definitely help.
The first couple of hours go by, and your hair is whipping in the wind, and Akelia is, you can see she's elated at what's going on.
Akelia, how long does this last? Can we rest in this sleigh, or should we camp, or how does this work?
She turns, she says, "Well, I can't continue this and maintain it for an indefinite amount of time. But when we rest, we will have to find a safe place. But while we are not resting, I should be able to keep our speed. Once we encounter more difficult terrain, we will have to slow down a little. But I should be able to keep things going. The path before us is pretty clear. But when we rest, we will have to stop."
Alrighty. I'll keep an eye out then.
Okay. So as the first day is whipping by, is there anything that you guys want to do, or ask of her, or try to see around you, anything, or observe?
Let's see here. How big is this thing?
Oh, let's see here. Not very big. Big enough to fit you guys. So
Okay. That's all I needed.
it's maybe not quite 10 feet wide. Maybe like on the order of 7 or 8 feet wide, and maybe 10 feet long.
Oh, Elwin's gone. I'll remember to tell him something when he gets back.
So you guys are relatively tightly packed inside it, but it's streamlined and it's made for speed. So.
I would ask her about whether a particular spell might help with the sleigh in the travel, in case we come across, strange things. This spell is this one. So, basically the antipathy side of things, where if anything sees us or comes close to us, it might be encouraged to move the other way and not swarm us.
Can that move
And
along?
it
Can you
might
cast that on a vessel? Let
on
me
a
see here.
yeah, you can cast it on a huge or smaller object or creature or an area. So I figured like if the sleigh is like huge or smaller, then I would put it on the sleigh.
Okay, you can specify a kind of intelligent creature like red dragons, goblins, or vampires.
And I was thinking maybe something like I would ask her about the creatures that she's seen and the ones we fought and which ones are the most common and deadly ones, like the things that are more rampant around the area.
Okay. She says she's seen a large variety of demons of different shapes and size. She hasn't been able to designate specific species. So in that sense, your guess is as good as hers. You guys saw a Baylor and these double-mouthed shrikes that you guys are fighting against.
I will try to double check and see if there were any that were more common. Like I've noticed like certain types of demons have some that act as scouts, some that tend to be more pervasive even though they're not like the leads. And I'm just trying to make sure that things that might be encouraged, like followers, might be encouraged to go the other way instead. So it might not be the leader, but more of like the henchman, minion sort of thing.
Okay, so I mean, like you guys have seen the Baylors here and the Shrikes. Those are the only two demons that you've seen. So there's one Baylor and there were 6 Shrikes, I think, that you guys fought last time.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe Shrikes. So
Okay.
I might just do that. So yeah, I'll just cast it for Shrikes, and yeah.
Okay. The spell succeeds, and it imbues the very essence of this, the very material of this chariot that your golden chariot that you're riding upon. And you guys progress along the majority of the rest of that day. As you're riding, go ahead and guys, the two of you make perception checks.
Huzzah!
Okay.
Let's see here. Set perception.
Okay. So both of you pretty good, but Renly was extremely perceptive. The Renly, you can see, you're perceptive enough to see that even as you guys are speeding by at like I said, a very rapid rate, which would be the equivalent of, I don't know, couple hundred miles an hour or something like that. You're able to just perceive things around you, and you do recognize that occasionally you'll zip right by, fairly close to, and when I say fairly close, I mean within 50 yards of small packs of demons. You do see larger ones kind of off in the distance, that fade from view fairly quickly. You do see a few of them rushing away from the cart, and a lot of them see you and begin to try to give chase, but are quickly left behind. But several of the smaller ones, instead of chasing, they flee the other direction along the way. So this happens several times throughout the day.
I will
Go
point
on.
out or describe some of them if I notice them and see if Akelia has any stories about them, like whether she's seen them in action on what they might do. But yeah.
She says, I have encountered demons, and many of the ones that have been on this journey I have indeed seen. They vary in ability just as much as they do in size and appearance. I must admit, though, that the most tenacious ones have been the hounds.
The hounds, you say?
Yes, I've only encountered them a handful of times. but they've always been the most perceptive. They've always been the ones who could sense me when others could not. I must admit, on a couple of occasions, they almost had me, but I managed to either escape or destroy the ones that came across my path.
Could this be a sort of tracking system where they use the hounds to track you down and then perhaps I make the sound of like, something died.
She says, I can only assume so. I don't know whence they come from, but they do seem to be singular in focus. At that point, Renly, you do hear off in the distance, very far away, kind of like a howl. Not like a wolf howl, but one more distinctly with a barking pattern that interrupts it, and then more short percussive howling.
And then I raise the finger like that.
She says, she pauses and she says, "Indeed, quite like that."
I mean, if we had a name for it, I would try my spell on you tomorrow to just, buy you some time if we end up having to fight them. But let us see.
Agreed. We shall see. I just hope that we will be able to put enough distance between us that they will lose our scent.
I agree.
Okay. You guys continue.
Is it you they smell or us we smell?
It's Deimos.
Probs. I mean, we could just kick him out and he'd kill them all.
She says,
He'll show up with like this chain of like 1,000 of them dragging him into camp tomorrow.
What's after us, guys?
So Elwyn, you guys are in a divine chariot that she's created. It's speeding across the plains of the Radiator Strait. The thing is moving faster, way faster than any fly spell or mobility spell that you guys could muster.
It's going like Mach 1.
Okay.
It's going pretty darn fast.
Oh, before I forget, Elwyn. At the end of the day before we sleep, blow some spell slots to practice teleporting. Because it helped me out a little bit before our last rest. If you have any left.
Okay.
For like practicing, like if you use like Dimension Door or Misty Step or anything like that. Because I made a little bit of headway. I shared that with Elwyn. I meant to do it at the end of the session last session, but you had the work thing, so I forgot to.
Okay. So, you guys are traveling along the Radiant Strait. The first day is uneventful. All right? And you're able to stop as the end of the first day kind of ends. And again, the days here, they don't reflect the light and the rising and falling of the sun. So you go about as long as Akelia can maintain the chariot.
Is the parchment blank for you guys too?
Yeah.
Black?
Black? No, it shouldn't be black.
Yeah, it's like black.
Yeah, it's completely
like
black.
My soul.
Really?
Does it have a mask on it?
It shouldn't. Enable the mask. Disable it. No?
Nope.
Might have to... Oh, I saved another file with the same name. Let me do this.
You're tricking Fantasy Grounds.
Yeah, I might have confused Fantasy Grounds.
Yeah, it doesn't...
Okay.
It will, like, if you save over a file, like, with, like, say, Photoshop, sometimes it'll be fine, but if you, like, drag something in, like, a new file that has the same name and copy it, then it, like, has a connection fit about it.
I might just have to restart Fantasy Grounds so it reloads it, but here, I'll do this instead.
If you unshare that, drag the parchment out of the folder, and then click on Fantasy Grounds, and then drag it back in the folder, and then go back into Fantasy Grounds, that should fix it.
There we go.
There
That's
we
good.
go.
There you go. Okay. As the first day ends, the chariot draws to a slow and eventually stops, and she kind of directs it off to a small natural rock outcropping and parks it along the side of it. And she says, "I believe this is as much shelter as we will find for the evening. It may be best to make camp here while I recoup my strength and allow the energies to reinvigorate our chariot."
Yes, that's a good idea. I'm gonna brush
Rinley.
water and feed Deimos.
Hey, Rinley.
Mm-hmm.
So you said there's a rock outcropping, right? So like a rock face.
Yes.
Rinley, can you make me a door size hole in this, please?
Alrighty. And I am going to wait. You want it in
Yeah, I
a
need a quote unquote entrance.
entrance in a rock. Let us see.
So like stone shaped door archway.
I don't have that spell prepared, but I can do that in the morning if you'd like.
That doesn't help.
I mean, I can blow a hole through it, but that'd be pretty noisy.
I'll disintegrate the hole if he wants.
There you go.
Okay.
Alright. And then I'm going to, I don't know if it'll work, but I'm going to give it a shot. I'll even use a spark for it to try to make it work. I'm going to try to cast Mordecai's Magnificent Magic.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your spark.
That's not me. That's Midas.
Midas, you're beating into the
Is it?
mic. I thought it was Atis, so I assumed.
Oops.
It might be the sensitive. I thought that it was pretty clear, and then I'm like, oh, okay, so maybe the breathing might actually be picked up.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I
let
thought
me-
that was Hades the whole time.
I know, right? Sorry, Atis. Sorry, Midas.
Okay.
It's all good. I've actually been remembering to put my mic as far away as I can bend it away.
And while he does his thing, I'm gonna practice with both of my 7ths and my 8th to teleport, and I'll practice with all of my 2nds to Misty Step, and I'll practice with 2 of my 4ths and 3 of my 5ths to
You're gonna have to write that
Dimension
on
Door.
So basically,
I'm
okay.
you're burning all your spell slots.
Except
Alright.
the 9th.
Okay. So a couple things. So Elwyn, you blast a hole into the rock. You make a cozy hole. You know, about, call it 4 foot deep, 4 foot high.
I'll use both of my 6 to make it like a nice door to disintegrate race.
Okay. So you're talking 8 feet tall and a little bit deeper, maybe 8 feet tall, 5 foot deep. And all right, let's start with Ada. So you roll the spark and you try to cast Magnificent Mansion.
Yep.
So what you realize though is that as you cast that, again, your attachment to different planes is broken in this realm, and you're not even sure that other planes can coexist in this realm. You cast a spell, but what your spark grants you is the ability to alter how the spell affects the world, and you create a pocket within Elysium itself. So it's not a parallel plane; it's kind of just like a hidden area within this plane that you're on.
How that works.
And you create, and it's not a doorway that you walk through and you get to this other place. Within this cove, this 8 foot deep, or this 8 foot tall, 5 foot deep cove, you manage to expand it and create like a larger internal shelter inside there. That is that is masked from the exterior, and it's almost like it's bigger on the inside than it is on the outside, kind of thing.
Sweet. That
Right.
works for me.
We
Yeah.
Doctor Who'd it. Okay.
But the ability to lock out any other beings from walking through a doorway, that kind of stuff, that doesn't happen. You just create a larger physical space than is
Hey,
actually room for in this
that's
hole.
that's better than nothing.
I,
Because
I
there
will
are other
use
magics that can keep them from coming through the doorway.
I'll use my ritual create campsite to get
Do I
little
get
tiny
the
servants
Do I get the
to
servants?
Roll a d20. All right, you get 2 unseen servants.
I
Sweet.
boost
The
it with
cooking.
create campsite, so more little tiny servants to like cook any food, like the bark, prepare that, get the stuff ready.
One
so...
of them is dedicated to the bar for Deimos because he's gonna need it.
Okay. All right, you do that. All right.
and I would
Go on, Renly.
before long, because we just stopped and we're setting up camp, I would commune with nature just to get a lay of the land of where we are at, just to know if there are any powerful celestials, fae, fiends, elementals, or undeads in
Within
the
3 miles, right?
in the exactly.
There's
Roll
a
a d20.
very powerful, face celestial undead creature in my pants.
Ooh.
You detect. Let's see. Powerful celestials, fae, fiends, elementals, or undead. Buildings.
It says you can know up to 3 facts, but I'm just focused on the creatures in the area. Maybe
Okay, you can.
buildings.
It says you can know locations too. Okay. All right.
Mhm.
Within 3 miles of you, you do sense one small kind of village, similar to what Akelia once, or the one that Akelia had. You're not able to tell what the current state, if it's been burned out or anything like that. You don't detect any creatures there. You do sense a single, a lot of basically like animal life in this area. So there are animal like creatures that exist in Elysium. The coatl is just one of them. Indigenous life, basically that kind of thing.
Oh, cool.
You do sense no fiends, but one you do detect the presence of one celestial. About at the very edge of your range, one celestial. So 3 miles.
And I will mention this to everybody, especially Akelia, because I've not heard of any. She didn't mention any celestials as such, and here we have a village and a celestial, and I'm like, huh, wait, what? So I'm double checking with her.
She says, I have not encountered any others, but if there is indeed a celestial, it would. She says, it would be a welcome change.
Renly, are you sure it's not Deimos that you're sensing, and his cherubic face and godlike physique?
I put exemptions for Deimos so he wouldn't be counted.
What about me?
Yes, none of us, none of these people. We are, like, we're above it all, right? Right? I think that's the way. We are the clique. You don't count the clique, right? Okay.
Akelia says, I'm curious about this celestial. Do you think we should go out and meet it, or try to find it?
I nod quite heavily, yes.
I look at my 4 remaining spell slots, 3 of them being a level 1 and 1 being a level 9. And I'm like, let's go.
I cast Windwalk on us, so we arrived in 5 minutes.
Ellen, roll a d20.
D20.
Okay. So you are, as you cast the spells, I mean, you have no success in teleporting until the very last spell slot. You're not sure, but as you cast you burn your last spell on like a, I don't know, like a level 7 Misty Step, just because you're just trying different stuff. You look down and you're not sure, but you swear that maybe that you were like a couple of inches to the left before you cast a spell, and now you're a couple inches to the right. So.
All right. So what I did was I used 2 sevenths and 1/8 to try to teleport, 3 seconds and 3/3 to try to Misty Step, 2 fourths and 3/5 to try to Dimension Door.
Okay. Yeah, so the Misty Step was the one that took, and you look
Okay.
down and you're like, you know, you can see a bit of a footprint, like 2 inches over from where your foot currently is.
I'm gonna call that a success.
I think you might be hallucinating, might be a mirage. The heat might be getting to you. It's such a sunny day. Shall we? And I do cast Windwalk on us, and I tell the little servants to continue to get the campsite ready. And yep,
What
Okay.
are we doing?
wind walking to a celestial that is 3 miles away.
I tell him, bro, I Misty Stepped.
How
He
fa-
did.
Wait. Oh, you did. Sweet. Good job. I told you.
3
Close.
inches.
Hey, you know what? That's 3 inches further than you could yesterday. So how far can we travel if you wind walk us?
Basically a mile a minute if you're dashing.
What's the speed?
600 feet per, round.
Oh, I could have flown us there at that speed and you wouldn't have had to blow spells.
That's fine.
And it would have
Alright.
been way more exciting.
As you guys wind walk across the plains, Akelia traveling along with you, the coatl kind of like just barely keeping pace. You settle down on the place, Renly, where you thought, where you sensed it. You land, and there is a little bit of brush in this area. You see some indigenous plant life, some foliage along the ground, some slight forest cover. You've entered a bit of a woodsy area. You don't see any creature around, though.
Huh, this was the area.
You said there was a celestial here?
Yep.
I'll transform into a planetire.
Okay. So you
And
take
I
the
will-
visage of a fairly magnificent-looking angelic being.
And I will project out to 120 feet telepathically. We mean you no harm in celestial.
Okay.
And I'll look around for it too, since I have true sight up to 120 feet.
Okay. So roll a persuasion check with advantage.
Huzzah!
That is a persuasion is charisma. Okay. Oh come on, be nice. Character sheet.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Could have been worse.
Can I spark that?
Sure.
It could have been 3 points worse at the most.
There we go.
Ooh, that's a 33.
Okay. The form that you take, speaking in celestial, and just kind of projecting your voice out, with your true sight, you look around and you see that in the thicket, in one of these bushes, barely visible to even your true sight, you see a creature kind of nestled in, hiding. And as you speak, you focus your eyes on it, and it realizes that you can see it. Of a tense minute goes by, and
I'll tell
slowly,
everybody to sit down.
slowly a creature begins to emerge from this fairly large bush, this thicket in front of you. You see it's clothed in some kind of ragged travel wear. It's a being, maybe a little bit larger than Renly. Um, its head, though, is covered in this ragged fur, and from the top of its head, push back some goat-like horns.
That is pimp.
Okay. I want to pet it.
I know.
The creature kind of looks up, emerging from the brush. His eyes on you, Adis, but then it cautiously flits back and forth to Renly and Elwyn and Deimos, especially Deimos. Deimos just basically there, standing there in his underwear.
And the shield,
Yeah,
maybe
the shield.
with Tempest symbol on it.
I will telepathically say to it, "We wish only to speak to you. However, if you are opposed, we will leave you in peace."
It pauses for a second, and you see its mouth. It's about 100 feet away from you. Its eyes have caught onto Akelia, though, and its mouth mutters something. You can't tell from this far away, but it begins to shuffle forward, taking small steps with its short legs. It's leaning on this staff, with like a lantern hanging from the tip of it, walking slowly with a fairly significant limp. It starts making its way towards you, its eyes focused on Akelia.
Is he wounded? Does he need help? What is its pronoun? I asked Adis to like.
You haven't asked?
No, I'm like, because I can't speak to it yet, it's so far away, so I'm just like asking Adis to like be the translator.
I don't know. So Adis,
It's too far away for me to hear him either.
You got true sight, Adis. So roll a perception check.
Okay. Let's see here.
Ooh.
You can tell by the hefty sway in his clothing, between its legs, that it is a male.
So him and Deimos will be friends.
Is he wounded? Does he need help?
It's
obviously it's, hear you, right?
Yeah. So it's kind of shuffling closer and closer, and finally it's within earshot of you guys. And as it's walking forward, you can hear it kind of muttering.
We can't see it though, right?
You can. It was pretty camouflaged in the brush, but as it's moving now towards you, all you guys are looking at it.
I asked Akelia if she'd seen anything like him before.
She says, "I have not. I'm not familiar with any of the creatures in this area. I have, however, come across a handful of," she says, "bones or mistreated skeletons and corpses. She says, and I do know that some of the denizens, some of the Arcanites of Elysium do take on the form of animalistic creatures."
I think we interrupted him mid-poop. That's why he's walking funny.
I will ask him, to whom does his allegiance lie?
As he approaches, he says, he says,
I understand all languages.
He says, "The gods gone from this world. The Shimble served the gods for long years.
Was he lying?
No.
Okay.
Just
Well,
Shimble sees your form, and he says, he looks at you, Adis. He says,
Mm-hmm.
an angel of the gods. And Shimble would have hid still, but Shimble saw her beauty, her divinity. And he kind of drops down clumsily to his knees, and he inclines his head down to the ground. He says, "Oh, great goddess, Shimble is yours, your servant."
when he does that, because I don't understand a word he's saying, I'm gonna say, "There's no need to kneel to the fire god from the sky, little one. Please rise."
I think he's wounded. I think he collapsed. I think we need to heal him.
No. I will telepathically tell the two of them. You guys don't understand. Just them. I'm not letting Goddess hear this unless she can hear it anyway. But
Yeah,
I'm
she can hear you.
telepathically telling them. I'm like, you know what? He saw her and got a massive boner. That's why he's walking all peg-legged. So just
I can cast regenerate if he wants to be sort of healed. I mean, is
I
that a
can
thing for
understand.
him?
That happened the first time I saw her too.
I'm face bombing.
Akelia says, I've never seen any of these creatures before. I've certainly never had a worshipper. He says, I don't know how to respond. What should I do?
just say yes.
Ask him what being a servant would entail, and maybe we can figure something out. Would he like
What?
to eat with us back at the camp?
What god did you serve before the gods left?
Shimble says, Shimble was in servitude of a lower level, but under the great Torm, god of courage and mercy.
Oh, we're headed to Torm. We're headed to Torm's vigil. Ooh.
Was your service of your own volition, or were you compelled to serve?
He says, all of Shimble's kind serve. Arcanite, what do we call them? No. We incarnates, we exist because of the gods, the very will of them. Shimble's family for generations past has always been in servitude to Torm.
That didn't actually answer the question. The species might actually be enslaved by the gods, but
Let me
that,
rephrase. If Shimble decided he no longer wanted to serve the gods, would the gods be okay with that?
He says, the gods are dead. The gods care no longer.
I cough and then I point towards Akelia.
Except my lady. And he bows back down to the ground.
Like, what the fuck? You can understand him too, Renly?
Adis is totally translating for us, I'm assuming.
No, he's... So, I mean... I guess he's talking Celestial. You guys don't speak Celestial, do you?
Does Deimos
I can
Celestial?
translate to them telepathically.
Deimos does. Deimos speaks Celestial.
I will ask Akelia if she has like a comprehend languages or something that she can cast on herself.
She's a god.
I'm just asking.
She says, oh, my apologies. Clumsy of me. And she casts comprehend languages on all of you.
Exactly. I figured. I think she probably knows but forgot.
Well, since the god you used to serve apparently is no more,
Torm gone from this world. Slain.
then that means you're free and no longer bound to serve any god unless you choose to.
But you are in luck, my friend, as there are many gods among you at
Owen,
this
shut
time.
up.
Well, actually just two. Me
He looks up.
and her.
He looks up at you, Owen, and he says, you... He sniffs at you a little bit. He says, you
I
have
sniff
not
back.
the scent of a god, but
Maybe your nose is broken.
you are unlike anything Shimble has seen before. Perhaps a god from another plane?
Yes, let's go with that.
He sniffs at you. Distinctly filthier plane.
You should sniff over here. And I point at my butt.
I'll switch back into my normal form.
I'm gonna say, well, all kidding aside, you are in the presence of one of the best people that I know, and she also happens to be a god. And I'll look over at Acalia, and I'll tell her she is very kind, very fair. She might be a young god, but it one worth following.
Shimble says, Shimble is forever your servant, my lady. And again, he bows down to the ground.
Can I
I'm
do
gonna
an
tell
insight?
Acalia, you can borrow him for a little bit.
Forever is a long time. Maybe just, be a friend and a servant for now, and then figure things out as you go. It's a very new relationship. Don't commit so early, people.
He says, we incarnates have no rights before the gods. We exist to serve. Our very forms are expressions of our physical manifestations of divine thoughts. We incarnates inhabit this world at the very whim of the gods. He looks to
Were
her
you
and he says,
born?
go on.
Were you born?
He
Do you have
says,
a mom and a dad?
nay. Shimble was, like all other incarnates, was created, born from the spark of a divine thought, made manifest in this world in physical form.
Do you have a soul?
He says, I do not understand.
How many blood chips are you worth?
Oh God.
Um,
But I will elbow Acalia.
You might need to use a spark to figure that one out, Ella.
I will
No.
elbow Acalia and be like, so, if the goddess over here gave you rights, to do your own thing and maybe serve her if you'd like, would that work out? I mean, the gods can give rights, right?
Before you answer, Acalia, I'm gonna say, Shimble, there is one thing that you should know about her. And she has not said this specifically, but I know that she is the kind of goddess that if you devote yourself to her, then you are not you will not work for her. She will work for you. She would do anything for any of her followers. I know her. I knew her when she was immortal, and she's that type of goddess that you don't serve her, she'll serve you.
Shimble says, he says, Shimble does not. He says, you can see he's a little bit confused. And Akelia kind of steps forward and she places her hand on his shoulder. And she says, Shimble, you are welcome in my camp, always. I will see you are protected, and that you will always have a safety and a home here. I will provide for you. I will aid you when you call. And Shimble pauses and says, my lady, so kind, kinder than kindness Shimble has never had before. And he kind of bows his head down again. He says, my lady.
One thing. I'm sorry, go ahead.
You are too good, my lady. Too good for Shimble. And Kelly says, I assure you I am not. And Shimble says, my lady must beware. Beware. Shimble is but one incarnate left in this world. There are others. Others still amongst the plains, still hunted by the demons. Many are in need. Many are in pain. Indeed, some of Shimble's own kind. He says, are being fed upon chased and hunted by the demons. But beware, not all incarnates are trustworthy. Not all incarnates will serve you as Shimble does. And he bows his head back down to the ground. Akelia looks a little bit confused. She stands up to you guys and she says, he speaks of more and more of his kind. Some, perhaps, in danger.
When Shimble, when you say that they may not worship or follow Acalia, do you mean that they prefer to do their own thing, or that they have turned against the gods and now go with the invaders?
Shimble says, he says, incarnates come from all forms of divine thoughts. Some of us are from their most noble thoughts, and others are from their most low. Some thoughts of cowardice and frailty. Some thoughts of kindness and nobility. But those of the darker or weaker form, says, a few, have turned against their own kind. Shimble has seen it with his own eyes. And, out of cowardice, saving themselves, have led demons to their own kind, so that they would survive. I beg you, my lady, be wary. Not all incarnates may be trusted.
Shimbo,
I'm gonna say, go for it, Adis.
is your existence sustained by the god that created you, or if you went unharmed, would you live forever?
He says, nay, the gods spawned us with their thoughts, but since then we have been free to live and exist. Shimble's own god died years ago, when the Red One stepped foot on this world.
Okay.
As many of Shimble's friends, family, and kind were slain in that war. Shimble is one of the few that remained.
I'm gonna turn to Acalia. I'm gonna say, my lady, you know that I am not only here as your servant, but as your friend, and also as whatever advice I might be able to give. Shibble says that many of his kind has turned against the gods, but they should all be given a chance, just like Shimble here, to be able to choose their own path if they see a way out. They might have changed their ways because of the state the world is in at the moment. But if we manage to free them, all you have to do is ask, and you know you have my magic at your disposal. And Deimos's dumb fists.
Kelia nods her head and she says, It seems as though I am here for a purpose. If there really are many more of your kind, Shimble, suffering and hunted, that is no existence, none that I can stand. She says, I must do something. I cannot stand to have innocent ones suffer around me or near me. She looks up at you, Owen. Just, if we get the chance, I hope that you will help me in freeing these kinds and defending them from the plague that wreaks havoc across this land.
All you need to do is ask.
Thank you, Elwyn. It is good to have friends here. Come, Shimble. We have a camp not far from here. Rest with us, sup with us, and tell us of your kind. You say you know of others that are near, or that are in danger. We will see to them soon. Shimble bows his head. Says, yes, lady.
Have you tried tree bark before?
Can I do a religion check to see if I know anything about these creatures?
Okay, go ahead. It's limited in knowledge. No mortals have been to Elysium, and returned. Simply because mortals don't exist here. You guys are the reason why Shimble was so curious when he saw you guys, and you smelled differently to him, was that he never smelt a mortal before. The only creatures that live up here are the gods, their angels, their pantheon, and or their what's the word I'm looking for? Their retinue, all the creatures that serve them and attend to them. And the Arcanites. Arcanites stands for are the various kinds of indigenous creatures to the celestial realms. Incarnates are one of them. They are physical manifestations of divine thoughts. And over the countless centuries, various divinities have had have spawned all kinds of different incarnates for various reasons. So, the incarnates are probably a greater majority of the creatures that are around here. You are familiar with several other species or several other kinds. Of note are the Anuna, and they're more flighty and whimsical. They're linked to the fates, the randomness of the fates, spawned in essence from the dance between order and chaos in this world. You haven't encountered any of them yet. And then the heights of the natural creatures here are the exemplars. They're basically axioms made real, truths that the gods spoke into being that are now evidenced in physical form. Heights of virtue and unshaking truth, the exemplars. Okay, so that's what you know about them.
As they begin to walk away, at 9th level, I cast Modify Memory on him.
Alright.
Wait, what?
Because it lets me scan through his memory for the last year.
What are you doing, Adis?
Okay.
Adis?
Alright, so you're trying to look through his memories?
Yep. Just basically see if he's had been, chilling, talking with demons or anything like that. Unless Elwin's gonna try to stop me.
I am actually asking you in character, I'm like, what are you doing? As I know
Just being cautious.
You might want to ask for permission first.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
And I will up the DC of it to it's gonna be like 40 something.
40 something. Alright.
Yeah, it's half a 28 plus 28, so 14. So that'd be 30,
Did you just
42.
do a 21st save? Oh my god.
Did you say half of 28 plus 28? That's 28.
No, my bonus increases it by 50%, so it goes up to 42.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna change
That's a nat
anything in
20.
his memory. There's no nat 20s on saves.
I think he shakes it off.
Wait, are you trying to do something to Shimble? Because
Yeah,
I would definitely
that's
No,
what
I'm-
I'm going what? To ask for permission, and I'm just like, I have no counter spell.
All
begin
you
to reach
see
out-
All you see is me casting a spell. You don't know who or what I'm doing with it.
You begin to reach out to its mind, Adis. As your spell begins to take effect on him, you see the hair on the back of his neck just bristle up, and it kind of tenses, and it shakes its head back and forth rapidly. Right, and you can see it. It's not a it starts to spin around suspiciously and
Hold on.
wildly.
I saw him cast a spell, and I see Shimble do that. I'm gonna cast Dispel's Magic as soon as I can. I'll do it at 9th level because that's the only spell slot I have left.
Okay. As the effects of the spell begin to fade, you see Shimble just this paranoid look in his face, just his eyes flitting back and forth. No, no, and he's looking forth. Shimble knows. Shimble feels something in. He's looking around, trying to figure out where it came from. Kelia places her hand on Shimble and says, "Dear, calm yourself." And she looks at you, Adis, and she there's a knowing look in her eyes, and she looks back at Shimble. She
I
says,
wasn't trying to hide it.
I'm gonna say,
yeah,
and we were just starting to get elongated.
She says to Shimble, "Calm yourself, Shimble. She says, we here mean you no harm. You are safe here." The Shimble felt in mind. Shimble knows that feeling. Shimble's felt it before. And Kelly
Yep,
says,
that's what I thought.
Felt it from where? From who?
Renly, cast Greater Restoration on him, please.
Let me double check my spell slots.
Somebody's been fucking with his memories.
Oh, besides that, Shimble, do you actually want healing? Because I noticed you are limping.
Or remove
Shimble
curse
looks
words too.
he looks down at his leg. He says, "You can aid Shimble?"
Yes, to an extent. And also, yes, with Greater Restoration, I think I can help on with if you're feeling any headaches or anything too. So this is just healing magic. It's nothing dangerous or anything like that. And if he gives me the okay, I will cast Regenerate, which can, heal limbs and stuff, and any severed parts. And then I'll do a Greater Restore.
Okay.
And, oh my god, all my high level slots are gone.
As you cast Regenerate on him, you can see his crippled right leg being slowly rejuvenated, regrown. And you can see flexibility and strength returning to it over the course of several minutes.
Awesome.
But a more visible change is when you cast Greater Restoration on him, and you can feel a lock on his mind and
I would actually use a spark on that Greater Restoration to make it more effective, because we do not know what the heck's been happening. Oh, so that's one. Ugh. Okay, that's nothing.
As you sense the lock on his mind, you're trying to remove it and do away with it, but it is of distinctly foreign nature to you, and you find that it's proving itself difficult. But your hands are on his head, and you're focusing and you're thinking about it, and you can feel Akelia's soft hands on the back of yours. She says, "Renly, allow me to help." And you can feel, yeah, and with her hands on yours and her mind joining with yours, the lock on his mind dissolves and breaks apart, and you see Shimble gasp, and his eyes flutter wildly, and then he looks around, panicked, and he looks up at Akelia, and a wave of emotion crosses his face, and you can see pain and despair kind of cross his face, and then after a moment, tears begin to stream down as he falls down to the floor. And he after a bit of time, Akelia goes down and she says, "Shimble, what happened? Who are you?" And he says, "Shimble's sorry. So sorry." And you hear the howls in the night air around you.
I disintegrate him.
What the hell?
He betrayed us. Like, did he say sorry in like sorry that I've just screwed you over kind of way, or sorry as in he did something in the past?
All you
Sorry,
heard
as in
was sorry.
been Yeah, sorry, as in he's been mind fucked and he didn't even know.
Okay.
So you cast
I'll leave him
Disintegrate?
be for the moment. No, I'll leave him be for the moment.
Okay.
But if he even twitches wrong. But we
Okay.
heard howls.
Yeah. Howls in
Is
the
there
surrounding
and
forest.
we're still in the village, right?
No, no. You guys are in the you had made it 3 miles to where Shimble's location, and you were traveling back.
Yeah.
So we're like halfway back to our thing.
Not quite. Maybe you're maybe a mile
Yeah,
in
we're
to
walking.
the
It's
3 mile
taking a
journey.
while.
Yeah.
Are we walking or wind walking?
Well,
We're
you
walking,
did
but
say
he
you were wind
doesn't have
walking back.
wind
Yeah.
walk.
Okay, no,
No,
Yeah.
that's
he
what I'm
doesn't have
asking.
wind walk.
You were
All right.
walking.
Is it day or night?
It is approaching dusk here. The days and nights move more slowly here, but it is equivalent to dusk. So it's a very prolonged dusk. So it's half
Is it
light.
hot or cold?
It's like a cool 50 degrees.
All right. L1, you ever fuck with my magic again, and we're gonna have a problem. And I will turn into Zerebor and tell L1 to keep her safe.
First of all, don't
Okay.
tell me what to do, and second of all, don't do stupid shit like that, and we won't have a problem.
Was I right or not? That's
Not.
what I thought. That's what I thought.
Yes, you
All
weren't
right.
actually right,
I
Dylan.
actually was right. I was checking to see if his memory had been fucked with, and I was right.
No, you were trying to cast Disintegrate on him.
No, I cast Modify Memory on him.
No,
That's
no,
how
no.
we
After
discovered.
that, you were trying to kill him. And
No,
so
I
at
didn't
that
actually
point,
cast it. That's why I asked Midas to clarify how he said it.
he just said sorry. You don't actually know.
No, that's why I asked for more clarification. And when I was talking to Elwin, I was talking about him dispelling my modified memory.
Okay.
Oh, it didn't work.
So you transform into Zerebor.
Mm-hmm. It's not working for some reason.
What's not working?
The the thingy. Oh, I think I know why. The thing where we can drag and drop it on our character sheet.
Oh yeah, I forgot to activate it.
Oh, you did? Okay, never mind. No worries.
We'll just have to do it the old-fashioned way.
No, that's
Let's see
okay.
here. Okay.
Oh, hey, Elwin, do you ever use like shape changing and stuff like that?
Nope.
Okay.
Okay.
Midas, does the Boon of Ambrosia, like, if I use it on my Firebolt, does it do on all three of them or just one?
Let me see here. The firebolts you fire 3 firebolts separately, right?
Yeah. So
And it's
one
max
cantrip
damage.
is 3 Firebolts. Yeah. So I'm asking if it just max damage on one or on all three.
It's all 3 casts since it's 1 cantrip per cast.
Okay, cool.
Ooh, that's sick. Hey, Elwin, what was your boon you got from Spiffy Dragon Dude?
Oh, my super up Firebolt.
Oh, is that what you got from the dragon?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's what lets you fire like 3 of them and shit?
Yep.
Oh, nice. I thought you already had that before.
Nah, it lets me fire 3 of them. I can. Oh, you know what, Midas? While we're prepping, I'll cast it and have 3 of my bolts swirling around me.
Okay.
I always forget to do that.
Yeah, they can swirl around you.
Yeah. So yeah, I fire 3. They do 3 times equal my charisma modifier and extra damage. Ignore resistance and immunity, and upon a crit, it does triple dice damage.
All right. So what happens is, as you guys are standing there in the small plain, or in the small area, you hear the howling from northwest of you. You look, and you see, and you hear the yapping and the barking, and you see, sitting there atop
Oops, sorry.
Ooh, nice.
atop a hill, or atop, not atop a clearing, but like in a clearing, a slight gentle rise, about 100. No, how far is this? Yeah, 80-ish feet away from you. You see a hound.
Can you share that with him, Midas?
The boon? Yeah.
Yeah, just so that he could read it. Thanks.
So you see this hellish-looking hound, just glaring there, yapping and snarling, and just its eyes, glowing red eyes, intent on Akelia, focused solely, its gaze locked on Akelia. And as it does, you hear
Oh, that's
you
pink.
hear commotion in the tree line behind him, and several demons step out of the woods.
Hey Owen, can you reserve? Is there a limit to how many you can reserve?
Just 3.
Oh, just 3. Okay. Can I
Okay.
do something as soon as I see the hound?
As you act, they are going to be acting too, since you guys all see each other at the same time. So it's initiative.
I assume it's just 3, right? I just can't be casting Firebolt over and over and
Yeah,
have
yeah,
like
you can
millions of
only-
them swirling.
They don't
You can
stack.
only hold one.
Hey, I was just curious because it didn't specify. That's why I was asking. That's actually a really cool ability. Let's see here.
You guys roll initiative.
Working on it.
Oh shit, no.
26 for me.
Okay. So Adis, you have that character sheet.
Thank you.
All right. So Adis, you act first.
I'll just do a quick look over at Homegrown, be like, so sorry, and I am going to flame torrent or lava torrent all of these assholes, and I will use my Boon of Ambrosia to max the damage, so they all take 800 damage. Anyone who failed, and 400 if they succeeded.
So there's a max. So there's a max damage button in the modifiers.
Oh,
I think.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Max.
Okay. That's fire damage type. So here, I'll put it on them. So the ground rips apart, and the tree and the wooded the foliage and the woods and stuff like just they fall over and they topple over and they descend into flame as this bed of lava just appears on the ground, spewing forth from Zerabor's mouth. And Zerabor's a little bit bigger. You see that the shrikes are half engulfed in the lava, and you hear them screeching and roaring in pain. The hellhound is just standing on it, for seemingly unaffected.
Alright. That's all I got.
Okay. Shrike number 3, enraged, takes slightly to the air, its little wings flying as it skirts across the lava, and it crosses over to here. Its full movement, it took its full movement to get there. Elman, your turn.
Okay.
And it doesn't say it's persistent, so I think this is away now. So.
Okay, so the 3 fireballs that I was holding, I'm gonna shoot them at one of each of those things.
Okay. 3 hits.
And then for my main action, I'm going to go 3 more.
Crit.
Ooh, I'm going to untarget the crit one, which was streak 2. Okay, so I'm going to roll the damage on those. And then on the other guy, it'll be critical. Okay.
Okay.
And then I will quicken, since I got no spell slots. And I'll do 3 more firebolts. Holy shit!
Damn, 2 crits.
Wow.
Oh man.
Wow.
I'm just gonna untarget the one
That
that
one
I
got-
didn't crit.
I got you all fired up.
Okay, so that's that one, and then... That was a pretty successful turn.
Yeah, especially for cantrips. I mean, they're
one-
all pretty
Oh,
busted.
never mind.
You hear a bit of a startle as Akelia, back behind you, gasps, and coming down from the sky, dropping down from I guess it'd be cloud cover up above or something like that. Baylor just crashes down and smashes into the ground right near you guys. It's
Keep his body in
It's-
one piece.
its whip and its flaming sword, flicking back and forth. It slashes once at you, Renly, just flicking you out of the, trying to flick you out of the way with its whip.
I'm trying to figure out, did the wild shape, what do you call it, thingy break or something? Because while I said I shaped into Moonsight, I've not been able to drag it over, so I wasn't
Oh yeah,
quite sure.
that I forgot to load that extension.
Alrighty, sure. And do you want me to just put the 10 points on Renly, and that way I'll just go off the sheet, or...
Hold on,
how
let me
would
just
you
put the sheet on the. I forgot that you raw shaped. Hold on a second.
Where's my meat shield, Deimos?
I know, right?
He is not here. Okay, so Renly, I'll just give you the sheet.
Alright.
You got the big guy, Elwyn.
So the big creature lands down there, and so Renly, you're in the form of Moonscythe. So I should put Moonscythe there. And it slashes once at its whip at you, since you're a little bit closer to it. It'll miss you. Enraged in this booming, howling sound erupting from its vocal cords, it's gonna slash out once at Akelia.
If it
There.
if,
That
if
would've
it
been a 22.
slashes at Akelia, I would do a sentinel on it,
Okay,
since it's attacking. It's within like 5 feet of me, so
so it
I would
deflects it
try
to you.
Moonbeam. No, it just lets me get an attack on it.
Okay,
as
go ahead.
reaction.
Go ahead.
I'm going to use my thingamajig, my boon of Biffin. So that's 90 extra. You might need to type it because it won't work here. So plus 90. And
Oh, plus
that
90.
would-
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So you blast it with a moonbeam as it strikes out at Akelia. And you can see its sword just flicking through the air. And Akelia standing there, a bit distracted. You can see the sword definitely contact her, and she's flung down to the ground, several feet away. The hellhound continues his howling and barking and snarling, as a couple more creatures come out of the woods. A couple more shrikes make themselves visible. Okay. Renly, your turn.
Alrighty, let's do that. Okay, it does not recharge. I am going to let's see, point within 60 feet. Let's double check this. Nope. That left to wait. Okay, so let's see if I can get this over here. Nope, that's not gonna work. Okay, in which case, I'm just gonna start focusing on the Baylor, which is right next to me, and just gonna starfall on it over its head. And this is not night yet, so that's about it. I'm not quite sure what its range or reach is. I feel like it's a lot. I feel like it's whipped us from really far away, so I'll try to keep close to
Yeah, you're still within
Akelia.
range.
Alrighty. And that's about it for me right now.
Okay. So the Shrike is gonna use its full movement to get here, including its dash, as does this one. This one dashes in here. Actually, can dash all the way over here. And Adis, your turn.
First things first. Yay! We get to play this game again. Sweetness. Let's see here. Elwyn, how well do you play with fire?
I'm the fire god from the sky.
So if I put lava under your feet, it ain't gonna hurt you?
Oh, it's gonna hurt me.
I think they're all flying.
I think.
They're on the ground. They can do little spurts
okay.
of air, but then they land.
Okay, perfect.
I think I can avoid you. Yeah, I can avoid you guys. Alright. Or I can do it on the big Wamba Jamma, but I don't think it's gonna hurt him, so. I will use my breath weapon again. Since it recharged. Yeah. So, let's see here. This. Tick save. Tick save. They all failed. Oh, and this dude. Sweet.
Okay.
And thunk.
Okay.
And I will. I don't know. Can I with my, if I use half my movement and my bonus action, can I like move over here and try and like paw this dude down into the lava?
Into the fire that you already.
Yeah.
So it's been hit by it
Since
already, so it wouldn't do extra damage. You can melee attack it if you have another melee attack.
No, I
don't
don't.
think you do.
I was just gonna
Yeah.
do like a shove him down in it to maybe like not him, impair him a little. Not. I wasn't going for damage, just kind of being a nuisance to him. Other than that, I believe.
Sort of like submerge it under.
Oh, in the. I don't think I'm gonna do that unless. Oh, is the hound is immune to fire damage? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool. I don't get to bypass immunity. Yeah, I don't get to use frightful presence unless I do normal attack. So yep, that's it.
Elwin, you're up.
All right, I'm gonna point my well. Before I point my staff, I'm gonna fire firebolts as a quicken against the big dude.
Okay.
One, two, three. And then I'm gonna point my staff at it and use my Dragon's Gaze and Frozen Tirade against that motherfucker.
Okay.
So he failed. He takes that much of the fire herps.
Woohoo!
Then he takes this much of the cool balls.
Okay. So twin beams of dragon energy just bursting into this thing.
Yeah, boy. Damn, I did not do anything to him. Shit, I'm gonna hide behind the big dragon.
Okay. Anything else?
No, that's my turn.
All right.
Yeah, remember we cheese killed the last one, and I can't do that for this fight.
Okay.
I passed my turn. You skipped the Baylor.
All right. The Baylor. Let's see here. So let's. Okay, so the Baylor is gonna rear itself up, and it launches a ball of flame on your general area. So let's see. All of you would have to make a Dex saving throw, unless you're immune to fire, in which it wouldn't hurt you.
Let me see if it's immune or resistant. Yeah, it's immune.
Okay, so you don't need to worry about it. On target, 8
Is it like a fireball?
But it's not a spell. It's just hurling fire from it.
No. Since Elwyn got behind me, can I try to buffet it with like a wing as a reaction?
I'm resistant, so if like he would damage, like he would save half of it. Then
No,
I would take it.
it's a pretty large AOE. It just lands in the area.
Oh, gotcha.
I
Okay.
do use my elemental resist to take half.
You
but
know what?
I don't
I
know how
have
to
that fucking spell too.
Okay.
I will use my
Alright,
reaction
so-
to half the half.
Okay.
Absorb elements.
All right, go ahead and fix
Yeah,
your
I'll
hit points
cast
then.
So I would take
Okay.
106. Oh shit.
You
wrong
see
one.
Akelia engulfed in the flame, singeing at her hair and her cloak. On her turn, she stands up, her eyes focused and glittering with starlight. You see her rise up, and in a fury surrounding her that you are not familiar with, that you hadn't seen before. Her eyes focus on this creature. She says, "Get thee back from whence you came! Begone from me, demon!" And a spark of energy just flowing in and through her hands just radiates forward. It's not glorious. It's not what do you call it? Anything incredible to behold. The things that you guys have been doing have been much flashier. Oh, I have my little laser beam there. But it streaks out forward, and it hits the Baylor in the core of its torso. And as it hits, there's no visible impact, but the point where it landed begins to glow, and you hear Kelia muttering in Celestial underneath her voice, whispering into the wind, and that glowing point begins to grow and begins to just spread all throughout the creature's form. As it's happening, this other Shrike flies into position right behind you, Elwyn. And the... Let's see here.
Say, don't do it, bro. I'm gonna fuck you up.
Elwyn, don't let the dog escape.
The hound there on its turn is growling and yipping. And you see Shimble kind of cowering there by Kelly's side, saying, "No, no!" He says, "Flee, flee!" He says, "For where one hound is, more will come, and where more hounds are, the Hound Master is soon to follow. Flee, flee, my lady, flee!" Akelia is focused and intent, and as the demon, the Shrike moves into place, and as Shimble is saying these things, the point of impact on this Baylor's chest has expanded all across it, and you can see it beginning to dismantle on the molecular level. Its very form begins to just fall apart. Just falling away into a slight shimmery kind of etherealness. And the light now encompassing its whole form takes root, and Akelia pronounces one last condemnation, and the Baylor disappears and shatters from this realm. Renly, your turn.
Damn it. Oh well, okay. I am doing this. It's so fucking far. I have nothing can get that far. Okay, I'm just hoping they reach this in 10 feet. And I'm going to move forward.
I'm looking for through my spells list to see what I have, but I just remembered I don't have spell slots.
Alright, so Shrike 5 gets an opportunity attack on you, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. As you're leaving it, it just clamps down its jaws into Moonscythe's hind leg. Okay. And as you walk away, you see that your leg is bleeding pretty profusely.
Yeah, I recall this. It was terrible. But I
Okay,
am
go on.
going to then look towards Starfall, and I'm going to do Starfall on the Hellhound, and I'm going to use my Boon of Tiamat on that. Because
Okay.
I don't know how strong these things are, but I feel like we need to kill this now before it continues to call. And here is Boon of Tiamat and Boon of Biffin.
Ooh, that's a nat one. Shit, I forgot. We don't do that here.
Let's do this. Boon of Biffin, here we go. So plus
Ooh.
110. So here we are, and he failed. So here, this is it. So that is plus, so that is 267. And here we are, 267.
Okay. 267 damage to it. The impact is significant.
You have the Boon of Tiamat on it.
Oh, you're using Boon of Tiamat?
Yeah, because I need this killed. So here we are. And
Okay.
Holy shit!
And I don't have that boon for the day. Done.
Yeah.
And I say we need to leave.
Yeah, so the five chromatic heads of Tiamat just raise up out of the ground, all of them greatly dwarfing the small hellhound. And
I did it on me instead of it.
You did what?
I did it on me instead of it. I just realized.
Here,
There we go. Okay, now it's instant dead. Not me.
I'm just imagining that Taco Bell commercial, and the hellhound's the little chihuahua with Godzilla walking down the street.
Yeah. The thing gets completely destroyed. torn to shreds as the 5 heads just rip it apart, snapping into it, um, crushing it into pieces. Akelia turns to you, and a look of surprise across her face, and she says, "Friendly, where did you learn to do that?"
I had to die. I didn't really
I
do it.
see.
The rest of them kind of did. But, yeah, we should make a move on, guys.
Was that? She points. She's like, "Was that Tiamat?"
We have a lot to catch up on during the campfire talk.
Okay. The Shimble is by this point has kind of plotted his way off in this direction. He's about 30 feet away from you. He's like, "Flee, my lady, come, flee, flee." And Kelia says, "But there are still some of the demons yet standing." And Shimble says, "Matters not. Listen." And off in the distance, you hear more howling and yipping and barking as several of them have locked on to your location, or to this location.
Ghetto native.
Let's see, is it? No, it's a Shrike's turn. Shrike number 5 is going to take a slash at Akelia. Oh.
Shit!
And you see it leap into the air and come landing on Akelia. Its twin heads just clamping down on her. Akelia shrieks in pain. Her eyes widen with the shock of it all. Adis, you're up.
Is he like close to the ground at all?
Yeah, he's basically like even with Akelia. He's larger than her, but he's bending down, hovering over her, just ripping into her.
Alright, cool. I'll just... Oh, well, just in case. Nope, didn't get it back this round. Alright, well, first, in the off chance, I'm gonna do my normal attacks. They are both terrified of me unless they're immune to fear. I'm gonna get to do a bite, a tail, and then 2. First, I will attempt to bite his frickin' head off.
Okay.
And since that apparently didn't seem to work, I'm going to rip his frickin' head off. Oh wow.
You're continuing to tear into it. It's pretty. These creatures are really tough, as you guys have been discovering. So it's still locked onto Akelia. Blood seeping out of the wounds where his teeth are clamped onto her.
Is any part of me like fire? Like hot?
Your actual body, yeah.
Yeah. As a free action, can I reach over and slap Moonscythe wherever it bit him? Or as a bonus action?
That would be a pretty precise trying to place it on the wound, and you're a very large creature, unless you're actually slapping Moonscythe, like trying to bump into it. But that's more of an action.
Okay. All right, I can wait then. All right, I'm done.
Okay, Elwin.
All right. So how close to those fucking house sound?
Not in the visible area, but you're figuring, definitely within half a mile of you.
Okay, so we gotta get either go now or kill these things now, right? That's what I'm getting from that. So I'm gonna use my Boon of Ambrosia on this attack. And then I'm gonna use a spark. And I'm gonna firebolt this motherfucker. Disadvantage.
Hits. 3
Oh,
hits.
that dropped to 20. Okay. So I'm gonna do max.
Where do you have
Then-
disadvantage?
Because I'm right next to him.
Yeah, he's in melee range.
Ranged attacks. That's right.
Okay.
And
The thing is
then here's
peppered
my-
in flame.
Oh, 3 on my spark.
Woohoo!
Oh,
So, do you just
that?
want me to?
Yeah, I mean, you could do it. I mean, but that would be 135 times 3, because all the 3 bolts hit at the same time.
Yeah.
They counted as one
It's
cantrip cast.
135 times 3 times 3.
1,000.
1,215.
On number 4, yeah, he bursts
the
into
one right next
flames. It just crumples down to the ground.
Okay.
With the ashes, the
then-
small bits of ash of him that are remaining.
And then I'll quicken a firebolt against the other guy. There we go.
Okay. And as he's
Let's
as he's
guys.
clamping on Akelia's back, he bursts into flame too. Shimble says, "Impressive," and Akelia stumbles forward. Her the place where it locked onto her back and onto her arm, streaming blood behind her. She puts her hands on her shoulder, and she says, she calms herself, and you see her focus for a second, and steam beginning to rise from her arm and her shoulder, and she begins to tremble slightly. But after a few seconds, the bleeding stops, and she looks up at you guys, and she says, "That really, really hurt."
But we need to go.
Okay, and she begins to move forward, but you can see that she's shaky on her feet.
I'm going to try to get her
I'll be like, I got
onto my
you.
back
I'm
and
gonna
then
cast.
get on Adis.
I'm gonna
Okay.
I'm gonna cast haste on. How long does haste last for?
A minute, I think.
Oh, that's plenty. All right, I'm gonna transform into Mirax, cast haste on myself, and then move 1,200 feet every round for 10 minutes toward wherever the hell we need to go.
And Elwyn, if you ride along with him and grab Shimble as well, that's plenty of speed to just dart off. So you're back to the 2 miles, 1,200 feet per round.
Yeah, because
Per minute?
if I do the double the move action dash thing,
Yeah.
I get 600 feet around plus haste, which doubles my movement. So that's 1,200.
So that puts
feet
you
around.
so 1,200 feet per round. That's about a quarter mile per. So you're back at the end of the minute. You're back at your camp
All right.
easily.
I'm going to see if can we put the flay on Adis's back as well.
As we're going,
what?
I'm gonna be writing down a formula for a new spell called Aidis Teleport.
Oh, I'm
The
trying
flea?
to figure out if we can take the flay, the chariot, and
Didn't
put
you
Oh,
it
turn
yeah,
on
back into
Adis.
a rock?
I
So
wasn't
you arrive
sure
back
what
at
happened to it.
the camp area. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's sitting there on the ground. So you want to put it on Adis's back as well?
Yeah, maybe fly further away so because we were only within 3 miles of that fight. So they can probably track us down if they've got her scent or something.
And you're bleeding,
Exactly.
which I licked up flames.
Oh
while we
yeah,
were
you're
flying,
bleeding.
I would have
I
raised
burned her.
restored, but
but
yeah.
I burned her.
Yay!
It doesn't work. Remember, divine magic doesn't work on those.
Am I
Yeah.
doing divine magic? Because I thought like
Oh, I don't
druids
know.
weren't divine.
I couldn't remember.
It's kind of a mix. You're half effective basically.
Okay.
There's some divinity, latent divinity in what you're doing.
Okay. So it's not pure nature magic as such. Okay.
I can bring up that way you don't hurt them that much, I can bring up a flaming sphere from my staff, and then they can just burn themselves accordingly until their wounds are cauterized.
Ow!
go.
Ow! Oh!
You know that leaves like a nasty scar, right?
Oh god.
Dude, you're gonna get so many chicks, Renly.
What?
Hey,
she's like baby chickens. 'Cause
if we go
she's in
inside
her
the
moon
shelter-
scythe form.
If we go inside the shelter, I can seal the entrance.
But then they just surround us and try to cook us from the outside, wouldn't they?
No.
How would we get out if we're surrounded?
Same way we got in, through the front door. I have like me and El. You don't understand. We can't run and run into another fight. Me and Elwin literally have no spell slots left.
That is what I'm saying. Like we've come from a certain direction.
Yeah,
we've
and what if we
wandered
run into the
far.
guy the size of a hill?
We know they're gonna find us over here in any case, and all the hounds know where we are.
Have no fear, I still
I don't
have
know
all my
where we
3
are
lookies.
anymore.
I know, right?
I literally just flew 2 miles in like 12 seconds, so they have no idea where we are.
And Kelly says,
I only have 7 sorcery points left, so
"So shall you wish to stay here?"
They have Achilles sent. They have been tracking her for ages, and so I just look towards you, and then I look towards Achilles. Is there any way we can mask your whatever they're tracking? Maybe they're tracking your divinity or something that only the hounds can trace. Is there any way that we can mask it?
I have an
She
idea.
says, "What's your idea?"
I could sequester her.
I just urinate on all of you to mask the scent.
I whack you with my staff.
And
Behind the knees,
hold on,
like in a cab.
No, hold on. It now the air just permeates with the smell of vaporized piss. 'Cause
It's my pheromones.
You just pissed on a dragon that's pure flame.
You're pregnant. You're welcome.
So Akelia says, "With some focus, I can mask myself. It will take a great expenditure, but I can do so. I have not the time to set up the incantations that I had in my village, but it can be done."
I do a sexy dance to inspire her.
I would like to work with her on this, and I'll use my spark of insight to try to get this to where it needs to go. But I
Okay.
will ask her before she does any spell work whether it can be instead imbued into, say, like an amulet or something that she could wear, so that it's more static, like it's not active concentration, but something as long as she wears it, it masks her.
She says, "Yes. It would take more time, though, and it would be at the extent of what I'm able to do. These demons, these hounds, they were bred to hunt gods." Just
How do
Are
they
you-
hunt you?
Are you quite tapped out at the moment, Akelia? Like, is she
she says, "It took a great expenditure of energy to heal myself from those wounds. I was able to do so, but the cost was dire." Just,
I'm still
you
dancing.
can see.
Think Magic Mike meets Stomp the Yard.
Oh my god.
Shimble pops up. She says, "My lady, I can bite off his pecker if you wish."
Oh my god.
How
Kelly
many
says-
licks does it take to get to the sun? Never mind.
Kelly says,
I
"Not now, Shimble. This is a common custom where they come from. You must endure it."
yes. Ignore it. That is what you need to try to do, like face away and if he comes into your line of sight, face away again. And at that point, I do ask her if Chrysalis might help, like, so that she, in 10 minutes, like, she has a bit more energy to do the spell, because I feel like this is really terrible, like, it's gonna track us.
I got stuff for that.
You guys hear the howling starting to move in your direction.
So, inside the shelter, I start casting at 8th level Mordecai's Private Sanctum.
Okay.
And
So are you guys moving into the shelter?
I thought we were already in the shelter at this point.
Okay, so it's a rock space within the rocks. So, you're in there. So are you casting Chrysalis, Renly?
If she believes it might help, so that she can then cast a spell, then yes. If she doesn't think it'll make much difference,
she looks at you and she says, "I'm familiar with the spell you will attempt," she says. In its normal form, it would have little effect on me. The energy that I require, that I burn through constantly, is so much more than a normal interaction with the weave could conjure. So if you have any way to... Yeah, she says, it would take much, much more.
I turn towards Elwyn and Adis and I'm like, do any of y'all have any sparks left?
Nope. Another reason we need to rest. And I will use the scroll to half the time to cast Mordecai's Private Sanctum.
So 5 minutes. The area, you make an area within range, magic secure. The area is a cube. Spell lasts for duration. When you cast a spell, you can decide what sort of security it is. Sounds can't pass through the area. The barrier of the water area appears dark and foggy. Alright, so which effect are you choosing?
All.
Okay.
And since I cast it at 5th or higher, it should be enough. I should be able to get the entire inside.
Okay.
And then I'm going to cast some more spells once I'm done with that.
Okay. Once the spell goes off, all the effects of the sanctum occur, and the sounds from the outside world are shut off completely.
And then I will use the scroll to dual cast 2 at 6th level, 2 Erupt Earths. And then I will do it again, 1 at 6th and 1 at 7th to seal the entrance.
I clicked Elwyn's link.
So did I.
I know, I'm like, oh my god, why?
Look at this guy.
I mean, he's having fun. It's adorable.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Okay. So Erupting Earth, what are you doing with the Erupting Earth?
Just sealing the entrance.
Okay. Yeah. So you guys are now shut off
I'll try
in
to
this
make it.
dark
Can
enclosure.
I do like an Arcana to try to make it look as natural as possible?
Yeah, I mean it's earth molding into the entrance, so it's the same earth in the area, so it blends in pretty well. And in the darkness. Go on.
I only need one of those. Never mind, I won't use that many spell slots. It actually does a 20-foot cube, so I don't need that many.
Yeah.
I only
In the darkness, Trimble he kind of lights his little lantern. And you guys are all sitting there. He says,
how long would it take to imbue an amulet, Akil?
You can see her pausing and resting. She says, sometime? She says, I'm not terribly familiar with all the workings of these creatures. A bit more information would be very helpful. If I had more knowledge of these hounds and how their tracking specifically works, I could speed up the process quite a bit. Right now, I'm focusing all my energy whenever I cast this spell on masking any and all methods of tracking me, of detecting me. If I could
Do you
target it a little more
radiate-
carefully, it would be easier.
I look to Shimble
What?
because I feel like Shimble is very familiar with these hounds at this point.
He goes, yeah?
Shimble's got some explaining to do.
So, Shimble, these hounds, how do they work? Your goddess requests your information.
As she
I
starts
blink at
asking
him.
him that, I turn into a planetar.
Okay. Shimble says, hounds. Hounds, they are not creatures of their own. They spawned from the Hound Master himself. He was the one tasked to hunt, to seek down the divine creatures. He came upon my village. Some time ago. And many died, many slain, consumed. Shimble was caught and made to do terrible things. Shimble led the Hound Master to to other incarnates. Shimble betrayed many. Shimble nearly betrayed his lady. And he breaks down, again on his hands and knees, his head planted in the ground. Sorry, Shimble's so sorry. Shimble's so sorry.
Did you say Pound Master? Because that's my name.
No, it was Pound. Yes, you have competition. You have a rival, Elwyn.
It must be slain. I
Does
am the
Renly-
only Pound Master.
You really should.
Renly, did you free him completely?
What can I tell?
It was Renly and Akelia working together. Yeah, you felt it dissolve completely. The locks on his mind were gone.
Just to be safe, I'm gonna give him a healing touch, in case he's got any curses or anything like that on him.
Okay.
I'm going to do a chrysalis on Elwyn, Adis, and Akelia, and I'm going to use a spark of insight on that, so that it works better. And then
okay.
I do not know if a spark of insight will come back after that, for Elwyn or Adis, but for the imbuing of the amulet. But we can try doing that the next day otherwise. But just so that they are full powered.
Elwyn. Here. And then I don't know if it'll do any good, but since the
Renly, go roll the spark.
Righty, I'm
Since
just taking off 6 level. Yep.
Since a planetar is a divine being,
Crap.
I'll give 2 to God Lady.
I've been rolling ones all day.
In the
So,
off
Renly,
chance
you're
it'll
able
do
to-
anything for.
You're able to cast Chrysalis. It's not a concentration or anything like that?
It's a 10-minute cast.
Okay. Alright, so over the next half hour, you're able to cast this spell on Adis, Elwyn, and Akelia. Who else?
Adis, Elwyn, and Akelia. Yeah, those 3.
I let everyone know that we've done studies on this, and 60% of the time works all the time.
So, Adis and Elwyn, over the next hour, you guys are locked into this spell that Renly cast on you, and you see vines and stuff kind of arise from the ground and wrap around you all into a hardened, tough exterior, and inside you can feel the nature magic just flowing through you all, through your forms. It accelerates your healing process, accelerates your recovery and your rest. You guys get your long rest.
And I'm hoping that they can use the sparks of insight in a spell with Akelia to imbue that amulet.
The sparks do
yeah.
not come back. The sparks are locked to the day.
Oh, they're not. Oh, okay. Because it said sparks and inside charges are recovered after long rest, so I wasn't quite sure. But okay, cool. Daily.
Yeah, they're locked to the day. We'll call it daily.
Okay. But at least they have their spell slots back, so we're not completely screwed.
Okay.
And then I will rest.
All right. Anything else from you guys?
I'm gonna ask little goat dude if he knows where the Hound Master is.
Who or where?
Where?
Yeah. Where?
Yeah, if he knows where the Hound Master is.
I will ask who and what and when.
So
And how
Shimble
big
says.
is he?
Shimble. He says, Hound Master moving, always hunting, seeking celestials. Now that there are no more gods, he seeks all the other creatures in this realm, seeking to exterminate all, and to bring back their bodies, their corpses, their flesh to his master.
Would his master happen to be like the size of a hill?
Shimble has never seen his master, but he hears rumors, he hears the great horror of the thousands of beings that he has consumed.
Wait. We're going about this all wrong. Now, as a Pound Master myself, as a Pound Master, you go out and you look for your prey, you sniff out, you look for the signs, you're an expert tracker, you see the weakest and the best way to come upon your prey. So that is what we must use against them. We need to have them smell us out, get our scent, and while they think that they're getting the drop upon us, we're gonna set up an ambush to get the upper hand.
I said that yesterday.
But how can we?
I did not remember that, and no, I came up with that right now.
No, I
Shut
know
your
you
face, Sadis.
How can we draw something that's not the hounds though? Because I feel like every time we try to do something, the hounds get drawn, not the Hound Master.
Shimble,
So-
do you know what the Hound Master's name is?
Harrow.
I can get his attention.
We can't gate though.
Why do you keep
We
calling
don't
it
need
Hound
gate.
Master? It's Pound Master.
I can get his attention whenever we're ready to kill his ass.
First thing in the morning.
And gate is not a teleport, and it has to be on the same plane. It's not a planar travel.
That's why I said gate won't work.
Why would it not work? It's not a teleport, and it's not.
It has to be on a
travel.
different plane. It is planar
Yeah.
travel.
Oh,
It's
does
on
it?
on a
Oh, it
separate
is?
plane, yeah.
Oh, I thought it was the same plane.
It's planar.
Isn't there one that's on the same plane that does some kind of gate like that?
No.
Arcane
I don't
gate.
know.
Oh, Arcane gate.
No,
Okay.
that's just transportation.
But I can still get his attention. I wasn't talking about gate.
I don't believe him.
Okay.
But yeah,
So,
I'm gonna rest right up.
Okay. So as the night passes by, you guys have an uneasy rest. With the duration of Adis's spell, you can't hear anything. Your senses are the outside world, outside this rock cavern that you've created, are completely cut off. So you have no idea what's going on in the outside world. It's kind of an unearthly silence. It's a complete silence. Only the sounds that you guys are making inside this cave-like structure. But you manage to rest uneasily, if anything. And 8 hours later.
Does Shimble fart a lot when he sleeps?
Absolutely.
While he's asleep,
And
I'll
every
put a
time
wall of
every time he
force
farts,
around him.
he says, every time he farts, he's like, "Oops, sorry."
I create a
Sorry.
wall of I create a
Off
wall
in the
of
corner.
force cone that goes from his
All night
ass
long.
to his face.
Sorry. Sorry.
That's great.
Okay. Wait, you're creating a wall of force around his whole body?
No, I was gonna say I was gonna create a wall of force like pipe that
From
went
his
from his
butthole
ass.
to
Yeah,
his
from his
nose.
butt to his nose. If I make it about the size of a hose, I've got enough pipage to get it from his ass to his
I
mouth.
will help him with the calculations of the physics of it.
Alright. So
He deserves it. Our friend got like ass munched by demons because of this fuckhead.
yeah, so in the middle of the night, he's the subject of this prank.
Torture.
Yeah. you see Kelly just glance over in your direction, just kind of like give an exasperated sigh and turn back over and go back to sleep.
I just point on my shoulder to where she got bit and be like, and shrug.
The next morning, though, I'll tell him, Shimble, you have been initiated. You have survived the night.
And you've been found wanting.
So in the morning, all the hair in the conal area around where your wall of force was erected has fallen out. Just kind of just like completely just like rotted out from his face. So he's like a half clean shaven goat face.
That's perfect.
Okay. As you guys arise, Akelia is a bit uneasy. She's walking around. She says, "I have to say, I barely slept." She says, she looks up at you all. And she says, "This
Well, I tried
knowledge
to
that these
spoon you,
celestials
but you
are."
kept pushing me away.
She says, "This knowledge that these other creatures, these incarnates, are being hunted and fed upon, that they're being consumed still and having their minds broken and turned against them, their own kind. I don't think I can bear it."
Well, that's why we're gonna kill, as Elwin so eloquently puts it, Pound Master. Because we can't go try to save any more of these dudes while we gotta worry about every one of them trying to get us killed.
She says,
Akelia, can
"Would
you spry on this harrow?
Oh, I can bring
Yes.
Harrow here.
I believe I can."
Can you do it without being detected?
She says, "Perhaps. I don't know the extent of his abilities."
He finds
We
out
can
there's
do
a
it
But-
god down. He finds out there's a god down here, and he'll bring everything after us.
'Tis true.
We just want him. I can piss him off and make him come say hi.
With or without an army?
Oh, probably not. He probably won't bring an army. I think I can wound his pride pretty bad.
She says, "It is you who have much more experience combating demons than I. I will defer to whatever you choose."
Renly, we need an earth elemental, please.
And I transform into an earth elemental and shrug?
Can you open
I
the door?
gotcha.
Can you open the door? We don't want to make noise. That's why I'm asking her to do it. And we don't want you to waste your
but
spells.
I don't want her to transform. I got my staff of the mage.
Oh, okay. We just need to open the door.
Sweet. One earth elemental coming up.
Oh, I can do this unlimited transformation, so it's fine.
I want to
think
spend
he
some
wants-
charges in case I get a spell
dark-
cast on me.
That is
Yeah.
true. That is true.
Okay. So you
Before
command
you
your earth
do
elemental.
this, though, I will transform it into Earth Elemental and pop my head outside, or try to look outside to see how many hounds are waiting for us?
But, Renly, before you do that, my Earth Elemental for some reason wants to have sex with you while you're an Earth Elemental.
I show him the hand and keep him away.
And that Earth Elemental just melds into your hand. Because you're
Like,
Earth
come,
and it
come, baby,
counts.
let's be one. Let's
Oh
meld
my
together.
God.
Have you seen Dragon Ball when they fusion?
I haul
Oh,
him into the
jeez.
stone so he can focus on the stone instead. And then I'll look out. I'll just poke my eyes out if I can and try to like just get a look and see how many things are waiting for us outside.
Don't you have tremor sense?
Okay.
My Earth Elemental sneaks up behind her.
I'm not
Alright,
sure
Renly,
if
so you're gonna,
flying, etc.
are you using tremor sense, or are you actually popping your head out and looking?
I'll do the tremor sense first because that is automatic as I'm walking. I would be able to tell, but then if I don't notice anything, I'm popping my head out and
Okay, let me just look up to see what your range is in Earth Elemental form. Tremor sense 60 feet.
yeah, it's not too big.
Okay, within 60 feet of you, you feel a few creatures, call it 4 creatures, within 60-foot range, just kind of pacing around outside your cave structure.
Well, in which case I'd pause and just tell people, yeah, 4 creatures outside. I'm gonna poke my head out to see how many are flying. But
Why don't we just go out and kill them?
forewarned is forearmed.
Do
And
they
I'll
have
poke my head
two?
out.
Do they have two? Do they have? Are they making 2 impacts in the ground each, or 4?
I assume it's 4 because I think I could tell the difference between bipedal and
That's what I'm
otherwise.
asking.
Yeah. So the ones that you're sensing are 4-legged.
Renly, can you open a hole in the door, say like, baseball size?
Yeah, I can do stone
Are you-
shape. But
need to
yeah, so
see
this would
for
be. How big do you want it? Like, do you
I'm
want to
checking to
peek?
see if I need to see. I need to be able to see the sky. So could you do it up at an angle?
Wait, are we gonna Meteor Swarm together?
I wasn't gonna kill these guys yet, but yes, that is a great idea. Let's do that actually. Yeah, make it straightforward for now, and and me and Elwin will just.
I'll earth glide through the rocks and then get to the top and then do a little stone. What do you call it? I'm gonna do my little stone shape and then get like show my hands to them and be like, "Oh, you're."
And we'll get it ready, so as soon as she opens it, we both go.
And I'll use the spark to meld our Meteor Swarms. Well, my awesome Meteor Swarm with his tiny Meteor Swarm to make it a massive plus a tiny Meteor Swarm.
I'm gonna spark mine too, and I'm gonna
It's like you're
maximize
docking
it.
your meteor swarms together.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna maximize it.
Okay, so my Meteor Swarm with his maximized Meteor Swarm.
Wait, hold on, pause. Stop, Elwin, don't. Not meteor swarm, we need to use something else. They're immune to fire.
Not
I
questioning
bypass.
though, and he bypasses
Oh, you bypass?
Yep.
all immunity stuff.
Elwin
Okay,
does. Elwin bypasses fire.
Can I
Fire.
use my spark to channel the power of my spell into him to amplify his?
Depends on what you roll.
Okay. Well, that's what
This
I
need
want
to
to
burn
try
the spell
because...
slot.
Yeah.
Okay, roll your spark. Okay, yes you can.
Can I
And
lucky a spark?
No.
And I will.
Sparks
and
cannot be luckied.
I will supercharge that too, with my mage ability.
Okay, So you guys are
we'll be
casting
sure to
Meteor
make
Swarm
sure.
outside of where specifically are you placing it? Just all around?
Well, we had her make a hole so we could see them, so we could drop it on them.
They were all around, like basically in various places within 60 feet around the rock enclosure.
Can you
So
sculpt
you see
around the
one.
rock enclosure?
So 4 different points you can see each with a 40-foot radius sphere. So I guess we would place it all around. So like if you're still looking at the parchment Midas,
Mm-hmm.
it would be 4 of these motherfuckers. Let's say that we're like right where our tokens are. The outside is over here. So
Yeah.
one there, one next to it, one next to it. So like pretty much this whole area pretty much would be covered,
Okay.
if not more.
Just like blow away the entire front,
Yeah.
except the door.
Okay. All right. Roll damage.
Just the regular damage.
Whatever you did. So Adis, you use your spark to join it with his. So both of you roll your damage. Adis, I think you're maximizing it, right?
Yes.
What did y'all
All right. Go
see
ahead.
when I made the hole, by the way? Like, what did y'all see outside?
What did you see, or what did they
Yeah,
see?
like as they're looking out through that little hole that was made, you know, into the sky and everything. Like, what are we seeing out?
In the sky.
Yeah.
No,
In
you
the sky
created
you
it
saw.
like level out into the out the door toward the doggies. I thought.
I'm happy to make more than one, so I would do one
What?
on the field and one down.
And
the
Elwyn
door.
has an earth elemental too. So let's say
Yeah.
Elwyn
Yeah.
did
Yeah,
the
so
one in the door, and you did one in the sky. So Renly in the sky, you saw 2 large shapes flying around in the area.
Okay.
Elwyn out in front of you, the small peephole that you saw. You saw a few dozen demons at various distances in various places in front of the doorway.
Alright, so
So
we
that's
would
the target.
definitely try to maximize the potential of our double meteor swarms here.
Okay.
Up to you, Midas.
Yep.
What did our sparks get us? I rolled a 1, so whatever that gets me.
Mine let me add my damage to yours so that it can bypass resistance.
Yeah.
Okay, so a 3
Yeah.
added your damage to mine?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So from inside the enclosure, and I assume you close the hole as soon as you cast a spell.
Mhm.
You hear the cacophonous impacts of these meteors, these large rocks from space, just like impacting the ground, slamming into the ground. It's the earth shakes around you. The roof of your cave sheds rocks and bits of gravel and debris that's peppering you guys, falling on top of you. After a few seconds, a few larger rocks, tip over and crash. At one point, the ceiling collapses. But fortunately, none of you were standing there. After a few seconds, the impact subsides, the trembling ceases, and the flame and the fire and the agony. Now, I'm assuming that you guys can hear through the Mordecai's shield or whatever you put up is no longer in effect.
It lasts for 24 hours.
Oh, well then you hear nothing.
Yeah, we don't hear anything. And I mean, I could dispel it, I guess. Or do you guys want it up still?
Fuck that shit. Drop it.
Alright, I'll
I
just.
want to hear what our carnage has brought.
Okay. You hear
Yeah,
howls.
dispel
You hear snarling and the sound of several dozen creatures in pain in wailing agony.
Alrighty, I am going to actually cast a spell now. And this is one that I have not used yet, but I'm prepared this for the day, and I use my elemental senses, etc., and I'm gonna cast past the rock still as an elemental, and so if they're outside, I think they'll see this, and so then they'll have to do a save on it. But yeah, so basically, I'm hoping that they see the mirage and they start walking towards it.
Where are you casting? How far away?
It's a range of 60 feet.
Oh, on the
So,
horizon. Okay.
yeah, exactly. So, I just have them start walking away, kind of thing, or flying away
Is
to
that
the
Mirage
horizon.
Arcane?
I think so. I'm not
Can
sure,
you
but
share
it's
it,
Bard
Lance?
Druid. It's Bard Druid, so it's different. It might be from the tome of some.
Oh yeah, the one I'm looking at is level 7.
Yeah, no, this is slightly different. I'm happy to empower this. So let me roll this. Oh, yay!
So what are you making
So,
a mirage of?
a mirage of something in the horizon, maybe celestials. You know, like
Okay.
one or two gods in.
You
in
know
the
what a
distance that-
planetar looks like?
Big bootied celestials.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do something strong and buff, and I'm assuming what are the solar planetars and maybe a god or two.
Funny thing is, whenever I try to
running.
Google pictures for this campaign, because I'm googling angels and stuff a lot, like fantasy art of angels, and they're all like hot chicks that are barely wearing any clothes.
I know, right?
That's all we need. Say no more. Please share them right now.
No, I've got some really cool pictures that I found that I'll be using throughout the remainder of this campaign. Okay. So you guys can now hear in the confusion of the fire and the chaos. They so they're not exactly sure where the attack came from.
Exactly,
So
that's
when you
the
cast
idea.
Mirage now, you hear large, a lot of sound and the rushing of feet and larger creatures and smaller creatures just go scampering off in the direction as they give chase. The barking and howling of these hounds goes tearing off into the distance in the direction of the mirage spell on the horizon.
I bought us some time. I pull out a hand into the interior and I give a thumbs up.
And I say, I need a hole straight up, please.
Alrighty, time for a hole.
Giggity giggity.
I'm gonna dual cast, since I can concentrate on 2 spells now. Skywrite, and I'm gonna essentially write whatever that dick fuck's name was. Hey, dick fuck, I heard you got a tiny penis. Mine's way bigger than yours. How about you come over here and say hi so we can have a dick measuring contest, you stupid fucking demon. And
No,
I'm gonna
wait.
kill your ass. What?
Right. Hey, I'm the real Pound Master. Come over here. I'll teach you what a real Pound Master does. Signed, Elwyn, the fire god from the sky.
Sure, I'll do that. I'll say, hey, whatever that dude's name is.
Harold?
Yeah, Harrow. And then I'll say his message, and then I'll do P.S. You're a bitch.
Oh, and here, I'll send him, I'll like, give Adis, I'll send him a copy of one of my best dick pics ever. And so he can, like, put it next to it.
I don't think I can put dick pics in it.
Yes, you can.
So
I'll give you one
as
of
you
my
guys,
sparks.
it's like an it's like an emoji.
All right. Yeah, there, an
Um,
emoji.
All right.
So it's like a GIF instead of an emoji. It's like moving.
Yeah, it's
like
animated.
proper.
No, it's a gif
No,
of
no.
Elwyn.
You
It's a
only
gif
get a
of
hard
Elwyn.
on if you have your hounds around. That's what you need.
It's a gif of Elwyn dick slapping the new Balar.
Yes,
The one that we killed, the one that I impaled with Earth. It's Elwyn flying up there, all fire god, and just dick slapping him in the face.
Okay. So as you cast this, it gets written into the sky. And Akelia looks up and she's quizzical. She says, "I was going to compliment you on your creativity, combining your spells and creating effects that were truly inspired."
I shake my
But
head at her.
she's looking up into the hole in the sky and she says, "Wouldn't that just draw their ire and summon them back after Renly had drawn them all away?"
Oh
I
no,
nod at her.
this is a personal insult towards the boss man. He will be obligated to come and salvage his pride. If he sends his minions, they will never respect him. They will turn on him. They might even try to kill him if he doesn't come and deal with this insult himself.
They're thinking
It's
like dudes.
trust me, trust me.
Hope you think they can do
I
too.
spent 200 years in hell. Know how these assholes work.
Let's view me thinks like a dude.
Dude, I'm
She
gonna turn
says-
to you and say, "Oh shit! I thought you were just wanting to go along with my." Okay, yeah, that's what we thought exactly from the beginning.
What?
So Akelia says, she shakes her head. She says, "I don't understand men."
I agree.
Demon men are very prideful. When you insult their pride, they have to seek retribution, or other demons
what was
just
the
see them as
purpose?
weak.
Well, then what was the purpose of sending dick pics and great magical
Ah,
expense
because
across
it
the
shows-
plains back to
Oh, he was trying to
back
make
to
his girlfriend horny.
the material realm?
You see how
Oh.
many gods get their power from their worshippers. Many demons get their power from people or from beings that fear them. I get my power from showing off my penis.
And that's
She
not a
says-
euphemism for prowess. He means his penis, unfortunately.
Literally.
Basically,
She's-
there's a
I
girl
thought-
back in the material
And
plane
friendly,
that
you mean
loves it.
fortunately.
And Deimos collects sticks. Welcome to the team.
Yeah, and
I
Deimos
fist
likes to
bump her.
collect Baylor penises.
She shakes her head. She says, "I thought that I had learned so much, but I see now that there is much I have yet to learn."
And it's not the good stuff.
I'm gonna tell her, you can learn today.
There is some knowledge, milady, that you just don't want to know.
She shakes her head. She says, "Well,
As Deimos stands in the corner with a ring of Baylor cocks hanging from his belt.
No, that's gone. He's just
Oh,
in his
that's
tidy
right,
whities
that's
thinking
right.
about.
No, he
his-
has a new one. He has a new one. He got one from the beach.
Yeah, he got.
So he has one.
started
He's got one. It's actually an even
recollecting.
bigger one.
So that's what he was doing while we were fighting. Damn you,
Yeah.
Deimos. Enjoying your dick necklace without me.
Oh, it's like four or five times as big as the old ones. He was spending that whole time trying to figure out how he could plug you with it.
the
All he needs
as
is
you
to
guys
ask.
are
I
talking,
mean, no, never.
Shimble begins to grow agitated. He lifts his nose up into the air, and you hear him sniffing, and he grows agitated. He's, my lady, my lady. He says, "Danger, flee, my lady." He
He's
draws
coming in.
near.
That's good. I'm maintaining the
Akelia
spell.
says, "Are we to flee?"
Oh no!
We
You
need
said
to
you
deal
wanted to
with-
save. You said you wanted to save these little things. Well, this dude's got to die if we're gonna. And you know, I don't know about the rest of you, but I'd love to create another monument to my demon work. I rather like
Okay.
the one I made yesterday.
I put my war paint on, like the black under the eyes. I just smear it as I cast Elwyn's mantle and get ready for war.
Shimbo, we are
All right.
off to war. Maybe
Soon the smell. It's not very long before you don't need Shimble's enhanced sense of smell to detect what he was picking up. The smell of rot and basically like rotten meat just wafts over you through the opening in the roof of your cave, and you hear something moving around outside.
Shall we go say hi?
And you hear a voice kind of call out. It says, I know you're in there. My hounds tracked you down, and now you put that shit in the sky. Come out. Bring your goddess, and I'll rip you to shreds.
Oh my god, he is a dude. God damn it.
I'm gonna ask Little Man, Goat Man, is this dude a fiend or a demon?
While you
Shimble
look for that,
says-
I'm gonna take a peek outside, see what this guy looks like.
Shimble says, yes?
About. Or either.
Is he a fiend? Oh, well, let me rephrase. Is he from hell or the abyss?
Oh, Shimble doesn't know.
I'm assuming Hellhound would be
All
hell.
Shimble knows is he's a creature of great torment and cruelty. So,
Well, since he
so
has
fiends
hellhounds-
fiends and demons are roughly equivalent. So all demons are fiends, but not all fiends are demons. But demons are from the abyss. Devils are from hell.
Could I extrapolate that he's from hell? Based on the
You can-
Baylors, the hellhounds.
You can try to guess whatever you want.
Okay. Can I willful through my knowledge of my 200 years in hell and see if I can come up with some devil law that would be able to force him to fight us mano a mano, like us versus him? No, none of his little shitbags interfering.
What you mean is you want Fight Cage, and Damus will be there next session, and we can Fight Cage.
Yeah, I'm not sure how. I'm not sure how you would. I mean, you'll have to try to talk him into that.
That's what I'm saying.
And you'll have to come up with-
see if I can find something to try to talk him into.
Well, you'll have to think something up.
Honestly,
Because
No,
that's a pretty
yeah,
tall
well,
ask.
It depend on what kind of law stuff you would.
Whoa.
Oh no, he's definitely not from hell.
I.
Come out. Come out. I'll feed you to my dogs, and I'll take
think-
your bitch to my master.
Oh, I'm going like Zerabor out the front fucking door.
Hold on, before he does that, I'm gonna turn to Shimble. I'm gonna say, Shimble, you have warned us about the torment. You have warned us about the torment and the torture and the pain that this creature exudes. And there will be much of all of that, but it shall be brought down upon him on this day. Zerabor, to arms! We'll fight.
Oh, I'm just like going full form, bursting out the door at him.
Oh my god.
Okay.
By the way,
Like
stay here.
as
Stay
I
here, Shimble.
transform, I'm just bursting out the fucking, just exploding this cliffside, just.
All right, and as the debris and the rock burst out of there, you see Harrow standing there. He's fairly tall, like 7 or 8 feet tall, standing there. His fingers and his like claw-like toes just hanging there on the floor. Just on the golden hued ground of Elysium.
Hey,
He
Avis,
is.
Can you make my virtual dick slap him on the face?
No, it's like
The cloud?
It's way up in the sky. No, this is what I do. As I burst out and I see him, I just kind of pause and go, "Oh, I expected something more." And then I just look at Elwyn.
Oh, dude,
all
wrong night.
disappointed.
I expected you to be taller.
Yeah, I expected you to be taller. And then I just look at Elwyn and shake my head, disappointed. This dude's not even like a tenth of my height.
I do call out from inside. I'm like, I don't think he has a dick. I have tremor sense.
Great.
Okay. So as you come bursting out, you see him just like hunching over, menacingly saying, "Come on, I'll tear you to shreds."
Breath weapon his face.
Okay. And I think
I
that's where we'll pick up
just
next
have
week.
one thing
Yeah, I was
I want
about
to
to say,
ask.
yeah. Can we do
Yeah,
this?
no, we
next
can't.
week?
We can't kill
Yeah.
it. We can't kill it without Deimos.
I'm actually asking like while they're doing this skywrite thing earlier on, could I have had a minute to just cast Foresight on Deimos? Because I would have been doing that. I'm like, we're gonna buff you up. You're gonna go
Sure.
and fight. You have a bigger deck. You have
Oh,
lots of decks. You're gonna
oh,
neglect his non-existent deck.
Elwyn,
Sure. I put here.
Elwyn.
Go ahead and put in on Deimos so I remember it for next week.
Perfect. Okay.
I put him on the combat tracker.
And
You know how much more ridiculous our fights
There
are
we
gonna be
are.
now that I can haste both you and Deimos at the same time,
Dude,
and only rolling a 1 on a concentration check causes me to lose concentration.
dude. 3 Elwyn Super Firebolts in 1 turn. Yeah.
Yeah, and with Deimos getting double hasted because he
And
has.
his super. Does it stack with his Super Demos?
Yeah, normal haste on top of his Super Deimos would stack.
Nice.
I can't wait
Okay.
to see what Harry.
Well, you shouldn't have said
looks
this
bad.
until after we started fighting him, because now he's gonna get buffed.
Yeah.
It's okay.
He's totally gonna be buffed. But yes, and so like Foresight, let's hope he doesn't roll too many 1s and 2s, Deimos. Oh my god. And,
All right.
hey,
Yeah,
it was awesome.
So next week you face the Hound Master.
Woohoo!
I'm excited.
Hopefully find out
I
more
tried
about
to-
what makes this place up.
I tried to make up for Deimos' craziness. This.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
I was like, oh no, I've got two retards.
Elwyn, I knew something was wrong with the goat the minute we found him. It was just too convenient.
But he's so cute.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and in any
and he'd
case,
also-
we
and
still
he'd
asked
also-
permission,
and
and
he
we
was
could
al-
have still gone back and done great restoration and everything.
She
at
could
the...
literally. This is what my character was thinking. She can literally be the only god left. Taking chances is not an option.
We've
Better,
been taking chances the whole time on your ass.
better
Midas.
safe and wrong.
Midas.
Yeah.
My deity is Bahamut, but seeing as there's actually a goddess that I can look up to, like we've known her, we interacted with before. How would it be if I wanted to devote myself to her, but still still hold Bahamut as a deity? Can I have 2?
Well,
Can I
Bahamut
double
is
dip?
definitely in existence. As a dragon sorcerer, your power comes a lot from your bloodline,
Yeah.
not necessarily your worship. Yeah. So yeah, you
We're
can
not
worship whatever you want.
monotheists. We don't just worship one god in this
Yeah.
particular world, right? Because there's so many.
But like if Deimos
all
tried
rip.
to make her his goddess, that would be a little bit more of a change.
Yeah, primary.
Because all his
that would
power
be
comes from his cleric. Yeah.
Yeah, I just didn't want to interfere with my abilities in any way. If I
Yeah,
just
Yeah.
did
It would not affect your abilities.
cool.
I have this vision. This is what would happen if Deimos switched gods. Literally, the top of Mount Celestia would come falling down on top of us as Tempest threw it at Deimos.
The whole multiverse will implode into one big hole, and then the Big Bang would happen all over again, and then everything's new.
All because Deimos stopped worshiping Tempest.
Yeah.
All right. Catch you guys next week.
Oh, I
Yeah,
sent you
yeah.
a picture in Discord,
night.
Midas.
Yeah, I
Gives you
saw
the
it in
review
Discord.
magic.
Alright, dude, thanks for
Oh,
running
that
it.
one?
It was really
Okay.
fun.
Yeah, that was really fun.
Yep. Cool.
Alright,
Catch you guys
see
next week. Thanks.